we're recording.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey,
Hello.
here we are.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to DMs After Dark Live, Not Live.
Greetings and salutations.
From the past.
We're-
Woo.
It is March 29th because we are grown adults with horrible schedules, and we are sorry, but we would like Good Society to finally get the conclusion it goddamn deserves, so here we are. For those of you that missed the first, the character creation and the two story parts that followed, a lot of this might not make sense, but that's okay. If you want to jump in at part 3, fuck it. We don't tell you what to do. We're not your parents.
And it's
Thank
been a
you.
month since we
Agrees.
played, so a lot of
Yeah,
it's not going to make sense
exactly.
to us either. So there you
Yeah,
go.
so we're sorry.
But parts 1 and 2, and our character creation. So there are 3 of our Good Society episodes on YouTube. You can go on there, catch up, binge it all if you want.
Are
Or-
we binge worthy?
I mean,
Sure.
I'd binge us.
Guys, we made it. We're binge worthy.
I think we're
According to us.
Yeah.
Well, we are
Somebody
really the
binge
only
it.
people who watch our videos, so
Okay.
100% of our audience agrees.
So,
Those are good stats.
in
Yeah.
order to catch everything up, I'm going to go around and ask everyone to do a brief explanation of what their primary character has been up to at this point. Who would like to start? Or shall I pick?
Pick.
Okay. Let me, you know what? I'm just going to go by order of the screen. So, Amber, start us off.
So orderly. Ugh.
All right. So my primary character is Catherine Ives. She is she's a young recently, and by recent in the past like 2.5 generations, wealthy woman in high society. She was recently widowed about 6 months ago and has been enjoying the widowed life. She's still wearing her mourning black and putting on the appropriate all the appropriate sighs and wistful glances and whatnot in high society, but secretly loving her newfound freedom and getting back to what she loves most, which is horses. Her family's made their name in the horse kind of horse breeding industry. Their horses are the shit. The king has Ives horses in his stables, and they've made a boatload of money on that when just a few generations ago, her grandfather was mucking stables, basically. So she's not so far from the common folk that a little bit of like kind of practical sentiment hasn't gotten down to her. There is some of that, but at the same time, Catherine has never had to muck a stable in her life. She does still ride and care for horses on her own for the sheer joy of it, though. She has a younger brother, Paul, who, after her recent experience with the married life, she's very concerned about him making a poor match or being bullied into making a poor match. So she's helicopter sistering a little bit. Paul is very sweet, bit foolish. Catherine knows this, so she's trying to do her best to keep an eye out for him and make sure he doesn't get himself into any real trouble. That hasn't been going great so far. Or has it? We'll see. There's a little bit of sibling tension there in just the past episode or so, where Paul really wants to prove himself to Catherine in particular, and Catherine is not giving him the space to do so. So he's had to get into some interesting little side plots himself, let's say. Catherine is also well acquainted with Windrith. Windrith works is a horse person herself. She's worked in the military stables and whatnot in her past life. And Catherine and her family they can recognize somebody who knows their horse stuff at 100 yards, basically. So
Like
Windrith
Bonnie
is always-
Barnyard Gillingham.
Windrith is always welcome to do extra work around in the stables, help with the training of the horses and whatnot. And Catherine and Windrith have bonded over an unfortunate event with Catherine's former husband, where Windrith has helped Catherine dispose of a body. And recently that bond that they've had has sort of come into the limelight again with some of Windrith's own problems, but I'll let her explain that. She's also kind of childhood friends with Jess's character, Xavier, who is a governor and educates people above his station, really, and has, done a little bit of teaching with Paul, who's a bit younger than Catherine. Catherine's a little closer to Xavier's age. My secondary character is Martha, who is an older woman, a spinster, shall you say, but she is
Okay.
loving the spinster life. She's got a very young man on her arm, Xavier. And recently, and just basically, she has a lot of money. She's older. She's past marriageable age, so people are leaving her alone. She just gets to do whatever the fuck she wants, and she loves that. But recently, things have been shaken up a little bit because an old flame, Lord Remington Harcourt, has recently returned from his adventures abroad. So she's a little bit shaken by that, and at the same time still has Xavier in her life. And now this old flame has waltzed back in, and she has choices to make. But I think that's most of the important stuff. Yeah.
All right,
Went
we'll
first.
move on down the line to Remington.
Counterclockwise. Okay. So I'm the old flame that came back into Martha's life, Lord Remington Harcourt. Also the father to Rainey's character. Shit, what's my daughter's name? I'm a horrible father.
Edith.
Edith.
Proving it already. Edith.
Wow.
Papa. Here, honey. Here's another house, honey. So Remington,
gosh.
Remington was a very distant dad to Edith. He hired Xavier to be her a governor, an educator, because he was busy off traveling the world, and has been kind of blown in and out of her life and the lives of the people in good society here over the last couple of years. And he's recently made a kind of a grand entrance with his beautiful Canadian Bay horse that he was riding in a circus with. And that has become now the centerpiece of a lot of things. So we have a bet ongoing with Catherine in a horse race where Remington is basically back to, in his mind, he's got to settle Edith's affairs because she's turning 16 and she's marriageable. The horse's name is not universal health care, regardless of what Troy wants it to be. It should be though.
In the name of universal health.
Canadian
Oh, it totally should have been.
But so he's one trying to marry Edith off and kind of settle his affairs. But to his surprise, he's found out that everything is not so great. His tulip investments haven't worked out well, and he's in danger of becoming insolvent here. So he's cooked up this horse bet with Catherine, where they're going to throw the race and they're going to bet against themselves because he needs some money. So Remington is a good guy, but a little shady. My secondary character, Ludwig, is not a good guy. He's the landlord to Windrith. And that's really his only connection to anyone else around here. He's a little bit of a climber, definitely a huge jerk. And hopefully we'll get his tonight.
All right, Jess.
So I am playing, my character is Xavier Delquoth. He is the governor and primary educator to young Edith. He cares for her greatly. He is a young man and he isn't wealthy, but he's kind of in the wealthy world by one being the lover to Martha, who's much older than him, and just being kind of in Edith's world. And since Lord Remington has kind of returned, he's a little bit jealous, and he's got a little bit more to prove, and he's hoping to kind of rise above his own station to prove himself to Martha, even though Martha doesn't care at all. So he is hoping to win a lot of money in the coming race. He probably won't, but we'll see. But this is kind of his first time kind of stepping out. Lord Remington has really kind of threatened him. So it's kind of his first time really trying to step out of his usual soft zone that he's normally in. And my secondary character, Bernard Barney Gillingham. Yes, that one. Yes, that one is an up and coming. I don't know what the word is, but he's an up and
coming prick.
He's a
Yeah.
prick.
Yeah, he's a nouveau riche prick.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he's a gentleman suitor hoping to win Edith. He is an up and coming person to join Parliament. He's well educated. He would say that he's well educated. He is hoping to buy Lord Remington's horse, actually, and he has a personal vendetta against Windrith's family. because he was hoping to hire on Winter's family, and they denied his request.
Mhm.
Did they really though,
Petty
or was
like
that
that.
Ludwig?
It
That
was it was Ludwig, but to
Yep.
his knowledge, he believes it
Yes.
is Winter's
Yeah,
family.
to
He
Barnyard.
believes he's been slighted.
Yeah.
Barnyard thinks he's been slighted.
By the way, dear,
nobody
dear
crosses
viewers,
Barnyard.
nobody knows what the fuck everybody else is plotting here. Like Catherine thinks this
Yeah.
is going to be a fair race, and she's riding to win stud rights with this incredible horse.
Oh yeah.
And if she loses, she has to introduce her brother to Edith, and she's like trying to make sure he doesn't get married.
Once we go
So
over
we're gonna
all of,
smoke them.
once we go over all the characters, I am going to do a quick rundown of the horse race. Because
Did
good
we
God.
officially decide that this is called the Canadian Bay Con, by the way?
No, that's how you got the.
That's
That's
how
how
you
you
got
got
the
the
horse.
horse.
That's how. Yeah,
You
it's a
Canadian
Canadian.
Bay
Bay
Con.
Canadian
Yeah.
Bay
But this is
Con.
also a
Which you-
Canadian Bay Con.
I
Technically-
guess.
This
Listen,
is-
we could totally make a short skit out of that where we all play NPCs. We all have these horrible Canadian accents, and then you're playing the moment when Remington got
I'm
this horse.
Not your buddy, guy.
All
could
right.
be a
thing.
Before
Anyway.
Christian goes off, I'm gonna say, hey, Righty, take it away.
Hey, sure. My primary character is Edith Harcourt, a young woman who has recently come of age, marrying age in the society, daughter of Lord Remington Harcourt, Christian's character. She is a perfectly trained little, what's the word? Is it
Dilettante.
Dilettante, is that what it is?
Debutante.
Debutante, I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
debutante. Dilettante's
Um,
kind of small business venture.
Yeah.
You don't worry.
Roig.
That might be Paul.
That's
That's
Paul,
Paul.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah. Sorry, getting my signals mixed here. No, but Edith is a young girl who is come of age, and she is conflicted about the world around her. She's been told and trained and taught by Xavier. She is relatively well educated for a young woman. She is trained in all the arts of court and etiquette and everything like that. But she has also, with the absence of a father in her estate and in her upbringing, the father figure being Troy's secondary character Joffrey. She has had some freedoms to kind of roam and have her fun, and that's what led her to meet Troy's character Windrith. So she is currently dealing with what teenage girls deal with, and that's love problems. She's although, and at the same time, she knows that she's being set up to be married to someone like Barnard Gillingham, because that is the role of young girls at in the society is you marry them and you pay the dowry and you set familial ties and all of this. So she just wants to. This is something that I forgot about, and when I was going back over the things, there are desires and stuff like that, and her desire is to enter into a marriage with someone who loves you without revealing your hidden wealth. Yeah, that's going to be impossible at this point, but I do think that in a
Without
way,
revealing your hidden, maybe not wealth.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
poverty would be
Yeah.
the better one. Enter into a
Yeah.
good marriage where people still think you're
tulip.
loaded. Yeah,
yes.
the tulip fortune.
But yeah, I do think that is still in a way Edith's goal, but she's becoming less and less confident in that outcome.
And your secondary lad there.
Oh yes, and as you've heard, my secondary character is Paul, young Paul Ives, younger brother of Catherine, Amber's character, and Paul is a young man who has been raised with everything, much like Edith. I'm playing two kind of spoiled brats, but Paul is less snarky like Edith and more out to prove himself, like Amber said, and he's on a short leash from his sister. She is kind of hovering and making sure he doesn't get himself into too much trouble. But this Circus Harvest Festival was all the opportunity he needed to get himself into some shit.
He got distracted by a horse for 30 minutes, folks.
Yeah. He made a bet with some carnies about the horse race. He got the lowdown on favorites for the annual horse race that is the big send off for the festival. And he made some bets. He also got in a conversation with Lord Remington and Joffrey and Barnard, and may have overstated his involvement with a certain brother
Lafroig.
Yeah, a certain whiskey distillery. And the
Scotch,
brother-
you
yeah.
bastard.
See, that's how much Paul doesn't know about what he's involved in.
No, no,
Love it.
no. Time out. You're all wrong because in Scotland they don't call Scotch. They call it whiskey. We call it Scotch because it's from Scotland.
Brady,
Sorry,
Brady.
don't think
We're not in
Good-
Scotland.
I'm sorry. Is Good Society in Scotland? No, it's
We're in
not.
England.
But
You
somebody who,
bastard.
but somebody who is doing business with the Johnstone brothers or whatever the hell their names
Mm.
are would call the product as it is called in its motherland. So he is selling it. He
Good save.
Mm.
listen, Paul is setting himself up as we called the last episode.
Mhm.
Everything is coming up, Paul. He is throwing this race to win money on a bet that he placed to prove that he's a good gambler. He is potentially going to lose the race, but maybe win the chance to win Edith. Then my two characters are going to be together. And listen, everything's coming up, Paul. That's all I'm saying.
Rock
Oh
solid.
man.
Everything's coming up, Paul. Subtitle: Paul doesn't know shit about fuck.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, everything's coming up, Paul. No thanks to Paul.
Unbeknownst to Paul.
And finally, Troy.
All right. So my main character is Windrith Ellingsworth. That is not her maiden name. That is the name she changed it to when she moved to Good Society in hopes of blending in a little better. But she is not from around here. She was a former soldier in the war of her home country, where we just kind of said Scandinavian or not Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Like just
generic
like a
Scandinavia.
Scandinavia with an Irish accent, you know?
yeah, with an Irish
Yeah.
accent.
That works.
Because there was
Um,
definitely a war in Scandinavia in the
Totally. Always.
Yeah,
Probably the
there's-
Russians.
There's wars everywhere. She's from Ireland or somewhere around there. But anyhow,
Which is
she was a Scotch whiskey, Ireland, Scandinavia.
We know
She,
geography.
listen, everybody, we apologize. He's from Iowa. He doesn't
I'm not from
He
Iowa.
just lives in
I know,
Iowa.
I know.
It
Listen,
rubbed off.
We are
everything's
so
coming
bad
up-
at this.
Everything's coming up DMs After Dark. DMs After Dark doesn't know shit about fun.
Yeah, this we
True.
know. Yeah.
True.
We know
So, yeah,
role-playing games and that's it.
So Windrith, 24 years old. She's the oldest of 5 siblings. It's her and her 4 younger brothers. Her father was wounded in the war, and he basically got like a TBI, and he's nonverbal. He's not able to take care of himself and that kind of stuff. So she's had the huge responsibility of trying to provide for her family and kind of taking over as like the head of the household, if you will. She has been working very hard, both for her family on the small plot of land that they have acquired from Ludwig. So gracious is he. And she's also been working with Catherine at the estate. She loves horses. She is an incredible rider. She very rarely in her past has she ever ridden a horse where her life didn't depend on it. So she rides with different purpose than all these people from Good Society. So she is trying to win this horse race for Catherine.
Yeah, she's riding for me. Eat dust, bitches.
She had a very tense cinematic moment happen during the last episode, and if you haven't watched it, you absolutely need to. But she had a flashback to a time during the war when she was in just brutal combat. It was very cool. So she's a little traumatized based on that, and she's got some decisions she needs to make. She's also madly in love with Edith. Edith reminds her of a time when life was simpler before the war.
God.
Edith's kind of young naivety is something that's beautiful to her because it's something that's been taken away from her and the rest of her family through kind of just shitty circumstance. My secondary character is Joffrey, which he is pretty awesome. He's kind of the head of the Hawcourt estate. He does all of their, when I say he's the head of the estate, I mean, in the absence of Lord Remington, he kind of deals with all of the finances, the estate upkeep. He has been kind of the father figure to Edith, in the sense that she really didn't have anyone else there and present. He's a very good, loyal man. He's a very logical man, but he's also got pearls of wisdom, and he's been a very good kind of just down to earth character to play. After a brief talk with Paul, he decided it would be in the family's best interest to absolutely not invest in him winning the race. And yeah,
That was a good talk though with him and
it
Paul.
was.
And he just,
It was.
And then he just turned around and threw.
And then
Paul
it
under the
ended
horse.
with bam, door slams open. We're betting to lose.
All
Love it.
right. So let's quickly talk about this race.
Oh, do you want to talk about the letters? Because we did some letters last session.
Not yet. No. There's a.
There's a.
Oh, I meant a
clue where it will
recap for
happen.
Sarah, but that's okay.
That's all just been vaguely covered throughout. I specifically want to bring up the horse race because it is.
I have it up on the screen right now for you too, Sarah.
Perfect.
The fucking
It is
bet.
the main
I missed-
focus of today's finale because it is a lot of confusion and we had to sit down and map it out over who wants what to happen. So party A, Catherine and Windrith. Windrith is racing for Catherine. Catherine
On
wants,
my beautiful Andalusian made of the lake.
if they win, Catherine gets stud rights to the bay that Remington has. Party B is Xavier and Martha, who want Remington to win so they get money because
Correct.
Xavier wants to prove himself.
Correct.
Party C is everyone else, who is betting on Remington to lose so they get money by betting that Catherine will win.
Correct.
So that's that.
Actually, a technicality. I believe it's as long as Remington loses.
Yes,
That's
as
the
long as
winning
he
bet for them.
doesn't win.
And there is a D, which is Barnyard Bonnie Billingham.
You don't know
Nice.
about this yet.
He gets screwed no matter what.
I beg to differ because I would like to
Oh,
introduce party D. Is that what we're at?
Sure. Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
D
Or
is
part
Barney.
C?
D is
Yes.
Barney.
I'm going to have Barnyard enter the race.
Oh, that's
He's
right. He
going
was
to be
talking about
entering
that.
the race. Correct. You better believe he is going to hear that Windrith is going to be running in this race. And he is like, oh, hell
He
no.
wants to embarrass himself
Yes.
further.
Oh, hell no. He is going to be in this race. He's going to bet money on himself.
Oh,
He
Oh,
rolls
love
up on a fucking 30-year-old donkey.
No,
He
no.
bought a horse
He
from
has
the
money.
circus.
An Arabian horse.
No,
He has
no.
money.
He's got money. He's got a beautiful horse
Brown horse with 4 legs.
whose name is going to be Edith's Hand. He's going to
Ew.
Oh God.
Man.
What a
That's
fucking
right.
Tool bag.
He's riding Edith's Hand into this race.
Windrith's just gonna look at you and been like, "You wrote it first, but I'm gonna ride it forever."
All right, so
Wow,
we
that
have
just took such a good turn.
Okay,
Jess,
okay.
I'm so proud of you.
Okay, this isn't
That was
supposed to
really
be
good.
dirty. Okay, this is like
That's
Edith's
in the
hand
running
in
for a
marriage.
Demi. That's in the running for a Demi right there. Mark that
This,
one.
Sure.
this is Edith's hand in marriage.
I
Okay.
need his hand.
You can say whatever you like, but public opinion is beyond your grasp.
And unfortunately, we
Yeah,
are
I'm
the
straight.
public.
Barnyard Gillingham is going to win it all.
Billy.
You gotta yell that at the finish line.
I love that that's become his thing. That's so ridiculous.
And you know he's
Someone's
going to
gonna
turn
be
up in
an
other
announcer.
games now too. He's become
Someone's
another
Pay
character.
the announcer to say that.
He's gonna become another like Yukon or something.
Yep.
Cornelius, yeah.
Who Yukon Cornelius did make it in. Just saying, he is here.
Yeah.
All right. So
Jesus Christ! Sorry, guys.
with all of that preamble and pre-explanation done and out of the way, we re-enter good society, the night of the horse race. Everyone is making their way there, whether it's folks who are racing, most of them betting, or some folks just there to watch. Um, everyone is kind of buzzing with excitement as the horses come in one by one and get ready. And so, what are the folks of you that are headed up to the starting line for the horses?
Before we do
We
that,
have-
actually,
Oh,
if you don't mind, if I
No,
may
go ahead.
interject. If I may interject, last time we left off with some letters,
Yeah.
and one of them in particular was a letter that Windrith had written to Lord
Oh, that's
Harcourt,
right.
and
on his way
absolutely
over.
just laid everything bare. Her feelings for Catherine Edith. Still can't remember my kid's name. Great dad, but laid the feelings bare, and it was intercepted by Joffrey. Joffrey had meant to discuss it with Lord Harcourt, but never did, and dropped it and left it. And at the very last scene we had, where there were two actually, one was Edith composing a letter to Windrith, which Troy actually has a physical copy of because
Yes.
Rainey wrote it and mailed it to him, so that'll be open live tonight. And the other was Lord Harcourt found that letter as he was walking out to get to his carriage.
Yes.
So I would like to start with Lord Harcourt in the carriage, having read that letter, and now he's arriving.
So this is the letter from Windrith to Lord Harcourt.
Correct.
Excellent.
And he has read the letter, and he wrote over by himself. By the way, Joffrey, I would think, was probably already there setting things up. So he gets out and could monologue token me if someone wants to, but if you don't want to, he's gonna look for Joffrey because he's
Yeah, I
rattled.
would-
He's absolutely rattled when he gets out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I kind of want a recap of that letter, but I
Yeah, I was
actually
gonna
do
say-
I do like the idea instead of making you monologue your internal monologue as you've read it and your thought process as, like, you can take it from reading it to sitting in the car, like, carriage, to
Sure.
arriving. at the
I
race,
do
you know
not
what I mean?
have a copy of the letter though to actually read it. I think Troy.
I
Troy
didn't
actually
write
has
it.
composed
I just ad-libbed it off the cuff, and it was
Only
amazing.
Really?
Rainey had to be a fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was totally off the cuff. That was amazing, Troy.
I like
overachiever.
props.
All right. So, well, what I remember of it, since it was a
Go
while
listen
ago,
to it.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it
I
was
was
like
I
recap
talked
to me the
about-
premise of the letter.
I
Something that
talked
Sun
about-
said.
No,
It was-
I
it
talked
was-
about how of all people that would understand, you would, because you've traveled the world and you've seen my home country and you've seen the the rolling green
Correct.
hills,
Yep,
and
the
how
hills
in
and the sun rising
Edith's
over the
eyes
Emerald
I
Hills.
see
Yep,
I see the Emerald Hills, and
et cetera,
And
et cetera.
You also brought up multiple parts of it where Edith's naivety and all that stuff, but also you'd hope that he'd be somebody who understands, like, marrying for love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I believe that is part of Remington's
It is.
history.
It is part of Remington's history, and so the monologue part begins where this is absolutely was the perfect letter to write to the perfect person, because it hit him right in square in the feels, and so Remington, in his own history, him and Martha were an item, and he shook, and they, for some reason, there was something that wasn't approved of in society with that match. I don't know what that detail is yet. We'll figure that out when we play. But it wasn't approved of. Had he had his druthers, he would have been with Martha. But there was somebody else that he was pushed to marry by his dad, which is a woman, Elizabeth. And so that was the one thing he kind of did, and did. That was the one time in his life Remington actually did what was expected of him. And Edith obviously was the product of that, but he tried to make he tried to make Elizabeth more like him, where she wasn't. And in my mind, she somehow something happened and he was blamed for it. I thought of a fox hunt. So he made her come on a fox hunt and she got thrown and like broke her neck or something like that. And everybody blamed him, right? Edith was already born. He was trying to get her like, come on, Elizabeth, be more adventurous. She agrees to go and do this. And that's like the end of Elizabeth. He was blamed for it. Part of the reason he's been away for so long is that he really, A, doesn't like to do what people tell him to do, but B, also kind of ran away from it. He ran away from that. He ran away from people's judgments, and he ran away from the decisions that he made that he wishes he hadn't. Right. So this is again absolutely shook him to the core. And so that's kind of why he's always carried a torch for Martha all these years. And interesting enough, he notes that she has not married either.
Not yet.
Not yeah, okay, Xavier, whatever. And you'll wipe your ass off the windshield like a bug. And, and so this the irony of him being
Martha.
home to
Martha was excommunicated from the church. That's why their marriage, she was not
Oh.
approved as a
I
spouse.
like it. Perfect.
Yep.
Very nice.
Too much wine. Too much wine.
Rebellious.
Too much too much apple brandy. So
Something
maybe
about tax
maybe
evasion.
he was trying to make Elizabeth into Martha. Be more like Martha.
Ooh.
Come and do all this stuff with me. Yeah. Okay.
Stop worrying about what other people approve.
Yep. I like it. I
Ow.
like it.
Which is a great reason for him to, take this letter to heart and like stop doing what people approve of and stop doing what people
That is
expect. Like
absolutely
for your
absolutely where he's going at, because he has had an epiphany in this carriage where he's doing the same thing to Edith that was done to him.
Well, you're riding in the carriage now. As you sit there and you finish reading the letter, what's he thinking?
That's what he's thinking that he has he shouldn't be going through with not the race because he needs the money, but his trying to force Edith into doing things that she may or may not want to do is just as bad as what was done to him. But also he has come to a realization he doesn't really know anything about his daughter's life, and he's been a pretty shitty dad, and that kind of rocked him to his core. And also, I think it's also kind of fanned up. Not that he was intending to talk to Martha while he was back anyway, but this has fanned it up more, fanned those old flames a lot more, because it's bringing back old wounds, right, and opening up old things, and he's thinking about things the way things used to be, right. So I think when he arrives, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to look for Joffrey, actually.
You can find Joffrey. I would imagine Joffrey is with he's with other gentlemen having a cigar. He's talking with the boys,
Crying a little bit.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, like where all the guys are placing bets and
Yep.
like the gentlemanly thing.
The gentlemanly thing to
And
do.
like Joffrey's this has been his role. That's good.
Excuse me, Joffrey.
He looks at you and he's like, "Oh, hello, yes, Remington. Excuse me, gentlemen. I will return and you can finish the story about that thing you were talking about." And then he kind of wanders off towards Remington, and he's like, "Cigar?" He pulls a cigar out of his pocket.
No, not right now. Thank you. This letter, I found this letter dropped out of your papers when we had a meeting.
He looks at you and he says, "Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Since your return, there has just been a tremendous influx of mail, and I was trying
I
to
had
sort it and
noticed
go
that.
through
Yes.
it. Yeah, I was trying to sort it and go through it for
Same.
you, but the race came up, and of course, we've just been so busy since your return. I didn't have time to give it to you. I
Did
had
you
every
read
intention
it?
to do so." No, why would I have read the
Joffrey?
letter?
Joffrey, how long have I known you?
He goes,
Did you read the letter?
"Far too long." Joffrey did intercept the letter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah.
And did he read it?
Yeah.
I think so, but
I
that's
think
up
we
to you,
said
bud.
actually he might not have. He might have just intercepted it because it was from Windrith and said she's a scrub and just like not give it.
No, I think he. I'm trying to remember. I think he did read it because he had it
Joffrey
like
is-
in his pocket.
And it was
Drop
open when
it.
I found it. I remember that.
Yeah,
So,
you arranged a meeting with Windrith and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah. True,
Yeah,
okay.
Joffrey is way too good of a head of a state to like leave any, I imagine he does all of his homework. You know what I mean? Like
like I thought it was another Sirius XM advertisement.
He looks at you and he says,
something about my
he-
carriage's warranty.
He looks at you and he says, "For far too long. I wonder why I try." Yes, I read the letter.
Why wouldn't you have brought this to my attention?
Remington, you have a lot of things on your mind right now. And there are rumors going around and questions that people have. And I just figured that your attention would be best suited elsewhere for the sake of your estate.
Rumors about my daughter or rumors about me?
Rumors about everything there could be rumors about, you know.
When have I ever given a fuck about that?
I'm not implying that you care about these things. I'm implying that they have an impact on your estate and your namesake, or could potentially.
Fair enough. However, who is Windrith? I do not believe I have made her acquaintance ever, which I don't think they've met.
Oh, you're probably
Yeah,
right.
no,
He
you're right.
says,
No.
he says yes. She's been in good society now for several months, maybe 6 months or so since your last venture away. She's one of those redheads. She works at the Ives stables on the horses.
Wait,
Her family is of no title, of no monetary worth. She's not very notable, from what I understand.
still though, she writes a beautiful letter. I think I should need to talk to her.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe she is racing on behalf of the Ives estate today.
Yeah.
She's racing
You-
against us.
That is my understanding, yes. And the only thing I know about her is that she was a soldier and she is very good with horses. So that's why our money is going to lose. Nothing against, nothing
made those-
against Paul. Nothing
You've made
against
those. You've
Paul.
made those bets, correct?
I have made the arrangements, yes.
Okay, interesting. Is Edith around?
Edith. Honestly, she came up separately. I haven't seen her. She took a carriage sometime before and said she would arrive before the race.
Very well. I will.
She
would
did
like-
seem like she had something on her mind.
I should think so. I should think very much so. I would. I would like to see her. And I would like to talk to this Windrith, I suppose. I will
He
find
looks at
Windrith.
you. He kind of looks at you as you're thinking of these things, and he kind of turns around and pulls forth a glass of scotch. He had one in his hand, and he holds it up to you, and he says, "Glass of scotch."
Yes. He just downs it.
He kind of takes the scotch, and he
It is
he
good.
looks at you. He looks at your face for a moment and just your manner, and it's almost like he's taking a inventory of kind of who you are as a person at this very moment in time.
And you
he,
can also
he
tell him
smiles.
he's shaken up by this.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but he's shaken up.
No.
These have been revelations for him.
Joffrey is one of those interesting characters, and he has a very interesting relationship with you because he's known you forever. But he's always been a station as he's one of your inferiors. He's one of your hired helpers, right? And even though he has the most important job of managing your estate and your livelihood and your family, he's not your peer. But when it comes to like man to man, human to human, life experiences to life experiences, he is very much a peer of yours. And he's taking you in now in that light. And he smiled.
Joffrey, it's not easy. You know that?
I can only imagine. What trials and troubles come with such wealth and fame. I mean, the bookkeeping alone would be enough to drive someone insane, I'm sure. And at that, he kind of pats you on the shoulder and he says, "If I do find Edith, I will send her your way."
Send him my way. I'm going to go look for Windrith.
Very well.
I can stop there, or I can continue.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
anyone else has.
What
something
do
else
we
to-
want to happen next?
Shit, is Barney already on? Is Barney riding this horse himself, or is he entering a horse?
Oh, no. Barney is riding this horse himself.
I
He
love
is riding his own
Like
horse.
side saddle, or like,
it.
does he know how to ride?
Is this
I can't
one
wait
of
for
my
Barney.
horses, Jess?
What? Is this one of the Ives horses?
Is this an Ives horse?
Of course, the Ives horses are the best. He's riding his best horse in this race.
Right, I fucking know this horse. So I'm with Windrith at the tracks. Before the
Did we make it there yet?
things are-
I think, is this the beginning? Like this is getting ready in the stables
Yeah,
and stuff
like
like
the
that.
stables and stuff. Yeah. Getting the horses ready, doing final checks of hooves, picking out.
Barney is
stones,
doing
whatever.
some self stretches.
Wow. Okay.
It's just like-
Also, remember Connor is on the way to
Yep.
give the letter to
I have
Windrith
the-
as well.
I have the timing for that.
Okay, perfect.
So Catherine's gonna do a couple passes, just not even really being subtle at all, just eyeballing Barney and the horse a few times. And then she's gonna go to Windrith and she's gonna be like, okay, Barney's an idiot. So I don't think you have to worry about the skill of the rider in this case. That's one of my horses though, and I know her. Okay. She gets too stressed out by being at the front of the pack and she gives it too much. So let her lead early on. Stay on her tail. She'll give too much of her energy early in the race to maintain a lead in the front of the pack, and then in the last quarter, pull ahead and give her hell.
Windrith turns and looks at the Maiden of the Lake, and she kind of looks at her and she says, "You think we can do that?"
She can do it. Give my horse a little snoot rub.
Snoot.
And also
Otherwise-
Barney's an idiot, so
Otherwise, Windrith has been totally silent on the ride to the fair.
yeah. I'm gonna impart that helpful insight about this horse. Bold of this man to pull up, first off being an idiot, second off on one of my horses, thinking I don't know how to beat her. Okay.
Are there any other interactions we want to see before we get right before the race?
Where is Xavier, Martha, Edith? Where are you guys all at?
Xavier is actually probably with Edith getting ready for the race and being kind of go ahead.
No, I love that. I was gonna say I'd rather, yeah, that's so much better because yes, you set the scene up.
I was just going to say Xavier's probably with Edith, being very, very anxious because, of course, they are late to leave. Maybe not late for the race, but just late to leave by Xavier's time. And he's particularly anxious about this race. So he is just bouncing around, trying to encourage Edith to move faster.
No, and I think that Edith is debatable, like just as anxious, and being a young girl in the throes of confusing emotions, she's just like she's pacing around, you're pacing around, you come and check on her, she's like and like you walk in and like she's fine, she's been done up, she's just pacing across her
Oh.
room, just absolutely, wondering whether or not do I regret sending, should I not have, oh my goodness, is there enough time, should I leave now? And then she's like, no, I can't, I have to stay true to myself, this isn't, there are expectations, you must do this for your father, and like she's just torn.
Aw.
She is like, you
Oh.
can't do this, you want to but you can't. I feel like we need to play a game of Star-Crossed with Windrith and Edith, but but no, she is she's pacing, and like you actually hear her muttering to herself. She's just like,
Oh.
I
Edith.
don't have a choice, I am lucky enough to have met her, I guess I shouldn't have been so harsh. And yeah.
Edith?
Xavier, yes, I'm sorry. One more moment.
It's time to go soon.
Yeah, she pats her eyes. She puts on a new dot on the side of her cheek, and she steps up. Yeah, she has kind of wiped away the tears that have been forming, and it wiped away her little dot, and she reapplies a little dot on the side of her face. She takes a deep breath, the corset, nice and tight, and she opens the door to see Xavier, probably also pacing.
Yep.
Yeah, and the two of them just nervous messes, just kind of. And we've talked before about how much time these two spend together. I think we both probably read each other immediately.
You
Like,
look lovely, my dear.
you look stunning, Xavier.
Oh, thank you. You bought it.
Yes, well, of course, I have impeccable taste, but
Yes.
Martha
you
will.
always have.
We should get you to Martha as soon as possible.
Oh, I do hope
Love.
she'll like it.
Yeah,
Ah,
and she kind of stumbles over. Love shouldn't wait.
oh, Edith, there's a lot riding on this race, I hear.
So I'm told.
I mean, how do you feel? What do you want to happen?
Truthfully, I just hope that
Everyone has fun. I'm just kidding.
No,
No.
truthfully, I just hope that Father and Joffrey bring money in and our family continues to thrive, however that may be best served. And like, she doesn't believe herself saying it, but
Edith, if only money didn't make the world go round.
yes,
If only.
Then we could have both what we wanted.
Well, I believe you are well on your way to getting that. Let's get you to your missus. And Edith holds her hand out.
Oh, he'll take Edith's hand and let her lead him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking priceless. Love it.
Yeah. Enter carriage. Fate.
Right. So we are.
It's Paul.
Oh yeah.
Where is Paul?
Oh, where
I-
did he go?
I presume Paul's at the stables with the horse.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
Catherine sees Paul preparing
Yep.
the day, that's the one thing she did not account for. That's a little shocking.
The Paul
like-
factor.
Yeah.
She's gonna-
It's that
like,
meme.
"Oh,
It's the
where's
meme with the
Paul?"
guy.
Like Paul's hanging out near the bay, and then she's like, Paul's touching the bay. Paul is checking the bay's equipment. She's gonna look at like Windrith, and then like look at Paul, and then look at Windrith, and then walk over to Paul.
Yeah. Paul locked eyes with his sister and just continues checking the saddles and like checks his boots and like head
Oh.
down does not.
I appreciate your attempt at sabotaging the horse's gear, but we really don't need it.
Unfortunately, sister, that is not what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
I am riding this beast in the race.
What? That's our horse made of the lake. The
I'm
illusion
aware,
that father paid a fortune for.
sister, I'm
Is-
aware, and I also know that you want stud rights to this horse. I'm trying to get that for us.
She just looks around like, oh no.
This is me making my statement as a man in society, sister.
By
Please.
losing publicly, Paul, you're
Not on one of our horses, sister.
but we're riders too, you know. The Ives we have a reputation also. Why? Oh no.
And yeah,
Mhm.
if Paul was nervous before, Paula's knees are
Okay.
shaken.
No. Okay. This is salvageable. So Maid is going to win, obviously, even if you tried your best. All things fair, Maid would win. She's incredible. But as long as you humiliate Barnyard, everyone will have something else to talk about.
And then there's this moment where Paul is like, he's panicking. You see it in his eyes, and he's looking around and he sees Windrith, and like he remembers that very tense walk by that they had when after Windrith had spoken with Catherine. And he was very confused by it. And he sees Catherine and he sees Maid, and then he's like nervous. He's like, oh, I'm fucking this up. He's like, oh no, like everything was coming up Paul, and now he's like, oh no. But then you say, as long as you humiliate Barnard, and then he looks over and he sees Barnard. Can we please name what? Oh, Edith's hand.
Edith's hand. Yes,
Yeah.
he's over there, just like lovely day for a race.
And,
I'd like to
and
think
you
that he
see
probably
his
like
quad
and you
stretches.
can see he's like doing things wrong, putting the equipment on the horse and everything. Like he doesn't, he's
Um,
not buckling
No,
the saddle
listen,
correctly.
here-
and-
In Barney's defense, he's rich. He has people to put that shit on for
that's
him.
true. That's true.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everything
So
So
looks
he's just
polished.
stretching
His
and having
writing.
people put them on
Yeah.
for himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's got people.
But that you see a moment of composure come back to Paul when he sees Barnard, and he looks and he goes, oh, I do not like that man. And he goes, sister, I can do
Handle
that.
that.
I can do
Handle
that.
that.
Yes.
Yes, that will certainly give everybody something to talk about, and it'll also be it'll be a great excuse. You know, you have a gentleman's dispute to settle on the track, and that is why you did not win yourself, but through no fault of your own ability as a rider. You have a point
And
to make.
sister, and that is a great example of me standing up and being a man. Yes, this is perfect. This is the perfect ruse.
Yes. Feed him so much mud he shits bricks, Paul.
He will eat my horseshoes.
And don't let Windrith's brother.
She'll
eat
just give
that.
Paul like a slap on the side of the boot there. You're like, all right,
Can Remington show up now?
I'm
Yeah.
proud of you.
That actually, when
Now-
you say that, that's when Paul just kind of like takes a breath of like sigh of relief because he thought he really messed up. His sister is the world to him. He does want to prove himself to not only society but his sister. He wants to come out of that shadow. And when for the first time, because he asked you last session, do you trust me? And you said no. And this time, and you just said, did you just say I'm proud of you? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, and like
Little pat on the
you
boot
just
where
see,
he's on the horse. Proud of
yeah,
you.
you just see him just like his eyes just like shine in like a torchlight. It's like a glimmer in Paul's eye when you say that.
Aw.
Right.
So I was
Neither
actually
one.
going to ask if Remington should talk to Windrith now or after the race, because Windrith is about to have some drama of her own.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think. Oh, that's such a good question.
And I'm gonna leave this one up to you, Troy.
Because I have a little bit of an idea of a plan of what happens right after the race if she reads the letter first. And I don't know if talking with Remington would hurt that or not. I guess as long as she talks to Remington first and then gets the letter after Remington has left.
Yes,
and it's not
that's
That's
there.
what
fine.
the order would
That
be.
works.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Remington, you
Oh, boy.
go. Windrith.
I wanna
have
see
a-
Catherine and
I have a
Paul,
scene
too,
for Martha
actually.
and Remington before the race. We can fit that in wherever, but before the race.
Before the race? Okay, after I talk to Windrith then.
Okay.
Okay. So I actually want to see Catherine and Paul too. So on my way, I imagine the stables are all together. So I see
Walking
them
away like we weren't conspiring at all just now. I'm just giving Barney the stink eye.
and I'm
Oh,
just he
Barney.
walks up and he walks up and
Yeah.
he's like, Catherine, you still all in black?
Lord Remington.
Yeah. Morning
Oh, didn't
becomes you,
know.
dear. Ready for the race?
Thank you. Born ready, actually.
Excellent. Excellent. I hope you don't mind Paul running for us, but we were on short notice and not able to find as good of a rider as we would have liked.
Oh, I think Paul will plenty suit your needs. If only I had selected a poorer horse, you might actually have a chance.
Well, you know, it is hang in the balance, the fates, but I believe Paul will suit our purposes quite well.
He is an excellent rider.
He is indeed. I have the utmost faith in him. Ride well. Paul.
Walking the horse out of the stable. Oh.
I do hope you won't miss your bay too much while he's residing at our stables for a year.
No, it's look, easy come, easy go, you know, and hopefully I know you'll be sporting
In the
enough to allow me
spirit
to
of
come
good
over.
sportsmanship, I'll let you borrow one of ours, a loaner.
And I'm sure you will allow me to come over and ride if I wanted to.
But of course, he really seems to have a bond with you. What with your
Hmm.
adventures in Canada and all.
Indeed. If you don't mind, I do would like to have a word with your rider. Nothing above board. It's just everything's above board. It's just some things have come to my attention recently. I just like to have a word with her. Not trying to.
I don't think Catherine knows anything that's going on with Remington.
She doesn't. But Remington isn't gonna like.
Edwin
She's
at
gonna
all.
see Remington like over there, like talking. So he's just trying to be like,
I think
perhaps wish her
Catherine,
luck. Yeah,
Catherine is aware of Windrith. Catherine is probably the only person other
That's
than
true,
Remington
they're
now
close.
that knows how Windrith
I've seen
feels.
some longing glances.
Yeah, and she maybe hasn't like spilled her heart to you, but like you have an inclining for sure. Maybe even more.
Catherine understands Windrith well, and she's
Yeah.
also a smart woman. So she would be able to put one and one together and get two without much effort.
Mhm.
Okay. So she is she's gonna become suddenly very composed. All the nice the collegial needling and whatnot kind of disappears. She glances toward Windrith. And she says, Windrith has had a bit of a day. Do be respectful.
of course. It is this is not a matter of the race, but much more important matter of the heart. But I trust your discretion in that.
She nods, but Catherine is gonna stay nearby and keep an eye out because she has an inkling of what's going on with Windrith, at least Windrith's feelings toward Edith. Maybe she has less insight about Edith's feelings toward Win, but she's gonna make sure that her dad here isn't here to do anything unkind.
Fair enough.
Win.
As you guys kind of are there near Windrith and making your way over, Windrith kind of looks to you, Catherine, and she says, the horse is ready. All of the gear is in order, but I'd love you to give it a once over. A second set of eyes never hurts.
Of course, I'm happy to. Lord Remington wished just a moment with you.
Hi.
I'll check on Maid.
Windrith, I do
Thank
not
you, Kat.
believe we've been introduced.
She's like, no, we haven't. She kind of like wipes her hands on her pants and offers you her hand. to
No
shake her hand.
hesitation, shakes it right away.
I'm over here buckling and unbuckling.
You
the
immediately
same buckle.
feel the slender but strong and calloused and weathered working hands of Windrith and yours as she shakes her hand.
I fear my odds of winning this race might be waning. These are the hands of someone who knows their way around a horse.
If I were a betting lass, I wouldn't be betting against me.
Indeed. Well, I don't know how to be delicate about this, if you permit me to be direct.
I'm afraid I don't know much about delicate, so have at it.
I had a suspicion you did not. I'm in reception of this letter.
Sure,
And
her
he just
face goes very serious for a minute.
Takes the letter out, and he looks at the letter, and he looks at her.
She kind of holds her breath.
And he looks at the letter again, and he goes, "These are quite beautiful and touching words that you've written here about my daughter. And I wanted to see you, and I wanted to look in your eyes because I needed to know if you were telling the truth when you wrote them."
She kind of like lets out like just a little bit of her breath. She lets out, and she says, well, I'm not a liar, and they're from the heart.
Indeed. I can respect that. We don't know each other at all, but when I was your age, it was a similar situation in which, I was not. There were some things that happened with somebody, and things didn't work out the way I would have liked them to.
She kind of like her body posture at this moment kind of like leans back a little bit.
Mhm. I
She's not
counted
sure
his-
what to.
Right.
Sorry, she's not sure
still
what to
holding
make
his
of what
hand-
you're about to say.
He's still holding his cards a little close to the chest with that. He says, "I would not want the same thing to happen to my daughter. By that, I mean I would not want to stay in the way of her happiness. And if her happiness is with you, then I would not stand in that way."
She kind of she relaxes a little bit. Her shoulders untense a little. Her posture becomes more just at ease, and she looks at you and she smiles and she says, I'm afraid the decision's not mine to make, but I very much think we're on the same page.
Indeed. Well, I hope I didn't take your mind out of too much. I needed to talk to you face to face, person to person on this. I have not talked to Edith yet about her feelings, and strangely, she has not mentioned you to me, but you will come to know that we have not always been close. I will bear the burden of that. I have not been the best father, but I hope to change that. But now you have a race to win.
She says, I think there's always time to make amends, as long as the heart's intentions are true.
I hope you're right about that. I really do. And now go. Ride like the wind.
She looks at you and she says, thank you, Master Horcourt.
Don't call me master. It's Remington.
She says, very well. Remington.
Catherine, you can stop listening. I'm done.
I'm sorry. What was that? Did you need? I didn't catch that. Are you planning to withdraw? Spare yourself some
Oh, not at all.
humiliation?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's not too late. You've got about 10 minutes.
Listen, I'm not withdrawing if Barnyard isn't withdrawing.
That barnyard is going to be buried on the track.
I believe you, but I still like my chances. I feel that, well, I'm certainly going to come out a winner one day, one way or another today.
Well, that is certainly a sporting attitude.
Good luck. And he looks at Windrith and, kind of gives her a nod and bows to Catherine and then leaves.
All right.
Very well.
And then
Catherine's going to go over to Windrith real quick and just be like, everything okay? Still feeling good? Head in the game?
She says, I'm ready to win your race, if that's what you mean.
All right.
She smiles.
She glances back at Paul one more time. I don't think you have to worry about Paul too much, but keep an eye on Paul and Bonnie, especially when they ride near each other. Some things might occur.
She says, aye, that bay's a big horse. I'll have to be careful and make sure I can get around it.
It's got big lungs. All right. Big lungs, big heart, big everything. Let them worry each other.
Rainy. Never mind, keep going.
You guys.
Sorry, real quick, just in the side chat. So as far as the tokens are concerned, I think Remington, Xavier, and Catherine all have monologue tokens that they can give.
I
correct?
have not.
Okay.
Not used
burger
mine.
sighting.
Burger.
Burger.
Yes, I have not used a monologue token yet. I'm waiting.
All right. And so I believe there was a scene with Martha, you said, Amber, you wanted
Yes.
before the race?
Yes. Martha is going to find Remington probably on like the edge of the ring before he can go to the fancy people box seats or wherever the owners sit in the fancy area. When he's still down on the ground in the mud.
Hopefully,
Martha
even
is
just
going-
possibly leaving the stables.
Yeah, Martha's going to be like kind of walking along the tracks in velvet shoes, far too fine to be walking in, trampled mud and
shit.
stable muck. But without a care in the world. And she's walking along like she was heading toward the stables, but she sees you emerge and she kind of stops in her tracks for a moment and just looks at you. And then a small smile touches her face. It's warm. It has a warm familiarity. And she says, Remy,
Martha.
I've been meaning to catch up with you.
Martha, you never change, do you?
Oh, you know me, true to oneself.
Years have been
I
kind.
wouldn't
to
say I
you.
never changed, though. I'm a little older and wiser now, I like to think.
I may be older, but I don't think I'm wiser.
Oh, men are a little bit behind, perhaps in 4 or 5 years when you catch up.
If I
Or
survive that
10
long.
or 20.
She'll walk over to you and then kind of
4 or
take
5
your arm
years.
and say, were you heading toward the
I
spectator
was
seat?
indeed. I was indeed. Are you unaccompanied?
Oh, I'm meeting up with someone later, but I will escort you to your seat if you'll allow the company of an old friend.
Always. Always. How have things been?
She's like, they've gotten better. It was difficult after you left, after your dear wife departed.
Yes. Yes. I never quite understood why you stayed.
Oh, there were no other heirs in my family, so the vineyard was mine as soon as I ran out the folks. But I didn't want to give people the satisfaction of running me off.
You always were braver than me.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to find your courage.
Indeed.
That was quite an appearance that you made. Looks like perhaps you learned a few things in your travels overseas. I'd love to hear about them.
I've seen a lot of things, Martha. A lot of things. When you're in Canada, have you ever heard of the Northern Lights?
I do think Xavier was talking about them one time. He likes to plan future trips and travels to all kinds of places.
Yeah, quite beautiful. Just these shimmering lights above the stars, and you think you can just reach out and touch them. Very beautiful. Very beautiful indeed. And let's see, what else? Have you heard of the Gulf of Mexico?
I have. I am a little familiar with cartography.
I've been on a boat out there, and the ocean. You're waking up in the morning, the ocean's just flat calm. There's no wind, and this water is just so clear that you feel that you could just reach all the way to the bottom of the ocean. I can't
Sounds
describe it
lovely.
well. You were always
It's
much more of a
sometimes
poet than I was.
difficult.
Indeed. Yeah, a lot of beautiful things I've seen, but I must say, if you allow me to be forward, Martha, that the things that I've seen in my travels were always diminished because I did not share them. And he's looking right at you when he says that.
Oof.
Can I use a resolve token to have Xavier kind of pop up at this moment?
Arriving with Edith just as this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oof. Okay, Martha does not notice Xavier arriving. She has that moment, that intense silence with Remington looking into his eyes.
But
And you can
Xavier-
tell there's still feelings there, but she takes a deep breath and then she smiles again, that warm smile of familiarity. And she says, well, you're not dead yet, Remy. And
True.
you have family now. You still have family.
True enough. True enough.
I wanted to wish you luck in today's race. And she takes off her scarf. She says, I know you're not riding, but I like to think a horse and his owner have a special bond. So if you will accept this token.
Always.
Motherfucking Joe.
Right in front of Xavier.
Always. Always. My
May
lady.
it bring you swift victory.
May it bring us all something. in life.
She'll drape the colorful scarf around his neck. We had a few rides when we were younger ourselves.
As she drapes it around, he kind of takes her hand and just lets it rest for a moment. Longer than it should.
Edith squeezes Xavier's
Yep.
hand.
Xavier's
like-
pretty tense right now.
It is good to see you again. I
It's
hope
always
you'll
good to see
remain a little while after the finale, at least.
I haven't any plans to go anywhere. But if I do,
Sure.
you'll be the first that I let to know.
Perhaps you'll be ready to make up for some of that trouble you avoided in your youth.
I hope so.
And she'll kind of take a few steps backwards, still smiling at him, and then turn and walk off.
Xavier and Edith are right there, Martha.
She stops for a moment and then she keeps walking and reaches for Xavier's arm.
Ah, Edith, I was looking for you.
Fucking Xavier's getting cockholded.
Oh,
Will you be all right, Edith?
will you? I'll be just fine.
Yes, I will be just fine. After tonight, I have an entire future ahead.
And once again, she squeezes your hand again, but this time it's like a more reassuring, not like a nervous, like angry.
Yeah,
You know.
he squeezes your hand back.
Yeah.
And
And
he will leave
Lot
with
of hand
Martha.
squeezing.
Yeah.
Meaningful hand squeezing.
Yes.
Meaningful
Um,
hand squeezing.
Regency England, everyone.
And
Scandalous.
yes. And yeah, Edith steps forward to approach her father. And yes, yes, Papa, sorry I'm later. As always, I like to make my entrance a bit more fashionably late, as they're calling it nowadays.
Runs in the
Um,
family, doesn't it? Entrances.
I suppose we do enjoy an entrance. But you notice that Edith's eyes are kind of darting all over towards like the starting line and like the stables area and like all this stuff, and she's just kind of fanning herself and just
Is something
have you
wrong?
no, just excited about the race. It's
Yes, it
always
should be
a-
starting momentarily.
oh goodness.
Listen, I something has come to my attention recently, and
yes.
I wish to speak to you on it at length. I suppose after the race. I think. Actually, let's pause a minute. Should I drop this on her now, or should I wait to after the race?
Can
Wait.
I say that you are about to, and that's when Edith sees Connor running.
Yes,
to
that's
Windrith.
exactly what I was gonna
Yeah,
say. Is
perfect.
Edith looks over like the side and sees Connor booking it down the hill.
And maybe at this point, maybe even Connor has to shuffle past some of the carnies who have set up like a little bit of a security area so that
Barneys.
people can't get into the race
Carnies.
area.
So Connor kind of scoots down around and like leaps over a small bench at one point. So Edith, you know exactly where that sweet hired boy of yours is
Yes.
going.
And I look at my father, I look at Papa Remington, and I say, conversations never really been our thing. Actually, yes, after the race, I will speak to you about whatever important matter this is, but I do need to be somewhere. Give me a moment. And you see Edith, she knows she's not going to intercept this, but she just can't stand and watch it. Like she needs to she doesn't know where she's going, but she's walking. You know what I mean?
He's walking.
How
she's,
about this?
she's going to try to get to the letter, but she probably isn't going to.
How about this, Rainy? You Edith tries to go
Oh
to
my
the
God.
letter and
They cast a
and-
spell on Troy and he
Oh,
shrunk.
Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Come over our house,
Yeah,
I'll come over your house soon.
but we miss you.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there in like 2-3 weeks, bud. I'll be there really soon. We're gonna have
Woo.
Easter together.
All right. Hi, bud. Did you hijack Daddy's stream?
Yeah, but
He's actually doing a better job, Troy. So, you can just.
Yeah.
That's okay, bud. We'll go look for him, okay? Sorry. I'll be right back.
Good luck.
I was just gonna say Edith can try and get to this letter, and she is intercepted by Barnyard.
Barney.
Barney.
Barnyard.
Are you using resolve token for this? Oh man.
Yup.
Gillingham.
Gillingham. See,
I will
use one and
100% accept that.
Edith gets one.
Because yeah, that's exactly what it is. Her feet begin just as quickly as she can pace without jogging or running, because that is unladylike. As quickly as she can pace towards Windrith to cut her off and stop her from opening that letter. And she hesitates a moment and she stutters and then all of a sudden as she comes around and comes down the stairs or something from the like the raised platform where people are watching from the grandstands or what have you, she comes down and at the bottom just right into
Edith.
God.
Yes, Edith.
My
Ah,
Lord Gillingham.
yes, I'm sure you are surprised to see me here in my full attire. He-
Always you always take my breath away, Barnard.
Well, there's quite a lot of rumors going around about the things that are at stake in this race today. And I just thought I have an interest in all of these things. Why don't I enter myself?
I did hear you were a late entrance into the-
Yes. Yes,
Well-
there is a horse that I was quite interested up for grabs. There is apparently an introduction to you possibly
Oh no.
up for grabs.
Oh,
And
no.
quite a bit of money. So, of course it is your choice. I am a feminist after all. But
He just learned that word this morning.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Edith is
but-
trying to hold her composure. Like when she hears one, there's a bet going on for her introduction, for a call upon her or something like that.
Yeah.
She is
he means to himself, of course, but
yeah, and he's just like, and then you continue on and she just well,
I hope you
suppose
will be impressed in this race. I've come for a blessing to wish me good luck in this race.
your determination is impressive, Barnard.
Thank you. It's gotten me this far,
It
and it will
certainly
take me
con-
further.
It will certainly continue to lead you in many places.
I've named my horse after you, Edith.
Did you?
Yes.
How?
So you
lovely.
can be a winner as well.
Oh God, so bad.
I would like to think that my my ability to represent myself is plenty, but I appreciate your
Oh no, come on now.
That is.
Um,
As much
And-
as you have achieved, dear Edith, I assure you that you will achieve quite more by my side.
can I give you this resolve token right back to be a little too forward with Edith?
Ooh. I mean, no, just go ahead. Go
Hey,
ahead.
you don't need to. This
Yeah.
is something that's going to affect Edith more than it's going to affect Barney. So you just go.
Yeah, do what you want.
No, I mean Barnard to be forward with Edith. Not
Oh.
Edith to talk back to him, but Barnard to
Oh.
get sleazy.
How sleazy are you thinking?
Just cannot
I mean,
do it as a
Regency
human.
era sleazy, not much. Like maybe I don't know
That
how
is
much.
No,
I
no,
have
no,
mind.
no.
Put your hands
No, no,
upon
no.
her in an insulting manner.
Yeah. Give
Like her upper
s-
arms.
Spend your resolve token and tell me what it is you'd like to happen.
Yeah, I think that you will go much further by my side, and I think that maybe you just
Like I hop off my horse and just pull
Yes.
you forward and cop a feel or something.
Go for a
like,
kiss, maybe?
pull me in, like
Pull
in a-
you in just
yeah.
close.
Or it's
By the
tradition
lower
for a
waist.
lady to give a rider a kiss for luck.
Oh,
Mm.
Going for a
Oh,
kiss.
Jess!
Jess, do it, Jess. You have to do it.
You don't have. You
I,
don't
you
don't
know,
have
actually,
to.
you don't have to,
Starting
but
to
I
get to
will. I'm
start
willing
and
to.
Edith
I am.
gets Barnyard Bonnie. leading
Remy
and
is
fuck
rich
her
with.
up.
Remy is poor with cash, but he's rich with resolve tokens. I will spend one to intercept that before it gets too far along and step in and be like, "Back the fuck off, my daughter, yo."
I mean, it's
Ooh,
I would say it's your call, Edith.
Or Edith, he can just lean in to give you.
Or
a kiss,
your
just
call-
put
your
your
call,
whole
Rainey.
hand in his face, like
Yeah. I would say your call, Rainey. What do you want to happen to
I
you?
just like I just imagine Barnard to be quite the entitled sleaze.
Okay.
You know
He
what I mean?
just
Like
slides
but-
off his horse, like lower back, pulls her
Yeah.
uncomfortably too close.
traditional to
Yes.
give a kiss for luck.
yeah, and like maybe it doesn't have to go that far.
No,
but, like,
no sleazy
um,
kiss, but like
just pulls her
presence.
in more
Sleazy
Just saying
presence.
that is
Yeah.
sleazy enough.
more
Yeah.
more familiar than he is.
yeah.
When you said
than
we
he
can
deserves.
accomplish so much more together, that would be
Yeah.
perfect for you to do.
Exactly.
right there.
exactly.
Okay.
Pay close attention to how I handle my mount.
But yeah, I believe
Immediately
and-
gets
and
up
at
and
that,
side saddle.
at that, Edith's
It's
hands
thrown
go
off
up
the
and
horse.
like press against his, chest and stuff, and she just says like, "How about you focus on the race, Barnard? I will be eagerly watching you and your Edith's hand."
I would expect nothing less, my dear Edith. And he will take your hand, kiss you on top of your hand, and
There it
Like,
is.
it's,
And,
a little wet. It's a little wet, and you don't know why.
Oh God! What, the hand or the kiss or both?
The kiss.
Oh, his sweaty hand
The
and a
kiss.
kiss.
Yeah,
Ah.
And now the hand.
Yeah, no,
he will mount his horse and go back and get
alright.
ready to race.
It's fucker.
So the person that's helping set up at the stables gives a call. 2 minutes to the starting line. Everyone make sure you're doing
That's
your final checks. And
good.
as this happens and everyone's kind of getting ready, Windrith,
Yes.
your brother, Owen.
The
Wendy,
oldest one? Or
the
the,
oldest one.
Connor,
oh, that's
or-
Connor.
Connor, I'm sorry. Connor,
Connor.
yeah. Wendy. He's like trying to find you through the crowd.
She like literally backs up on her horse and she's like, "My God, what could it possibly be, Connor?"
How
And
many of you are there? My goodness.
he ignores Barney completely because he got paid by Edith.
Wow.
And he just, look,
Spit it
Here.
out, Connor.
he just holds the letter out to her.
He's like, I don't have time for mail
No.
right now.
I have been informed that it's extremely important.
By who?
Just look at it and you'll know. Give me just
She grabs the letter and it smells of sweet perfume.
and you do see a lock of hair of a very distinct, familiar color
Oh shit!
attached to it. That's why you brought the knife to open the letter.
Paid for first class shipping. Wow.
Had to make sure it got there.
Really
Yeah.
are rich.
Yeah.
How much
Okay,
are you worth,
I
Troy?
do-
$5?
I do just
Paid for
want
first class
to.
shipping, and then it took us a
Yeah,
month and a half.
another another like 2
Aw.
weeks. So like it was like
Aw.
oh,
Look
Oh.
at
the wax,
that.
Look at that.
the wax got destroyed. It was a nice
It's-
little.
It's
That's
Aw,
okay.
Emblem.
But
Aw.
look at this. Look at
Beautiful.
this piece of paper.
Wow.
Look at this.
all right.
Rainy.
Yeah, I
All
stained
right.
it and I
We go
wrote
all in.
cursive and
That
Okay.
handwriting is so beautiful.
It is actually super nice. Damn.
Yeah.
And for a brief moment, the world kind of slows down around Windrith as she sees the words on the page in front of her.
oh no.
Okay.
Oh God.
So she's sitting on the horse now, and she opens the letter and she sees the lock of hair and she reads it out loud. No, she reads it to herself. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna read it out loud. All right. It says, "My dearest Windrith, you deserve a garden full of flowers, colorful and bright. Your tender touch could make them bloom your soul, radiant light. You deserve a stable full of horses to care for, brush and ride, not to shoe yourself for family's health, but see the world as I. Beware the one who gives you roses, they're often hiding thorns, or deliveries of tulips when the fields have all been worn. I would send you baby's breath, but mourn the life unborn, for love alone is not enough when it is love destined forlorn. Yours forever, yet never, E."
Ready?
Damn. God damn it, Rainy.
And Edith, is
uh,
in the background of a shot, still stunned from Barnard, staring at what she couldn't stop from happening.
We hear the narration of yours forever but never E, and camera pans just to the left and we see Edith in the background just staring.
I am going to
Windrith-
spend a monologue token there. I think. What do you think, guys?
I've already had a monologue. We only get
Oh,
one.
You have shit, but
that's
Edith
okay.
But
hasn't.
Edith has
Edith
it.
Edith
hasn't.
hasn't.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend mine on
Edith.
Edith.
Oh, Rainy knew.
Oh boy, yeah. Boom. Immediately, unlike before, her feet say run, but they don't move. Her feet are led in the mud on the side of this starting line as she sees Edith unfurl the ribbon, the hair, read, and her eyes. I imagine Windrith looks up, taking it all in, but like isn't scanning. Maybe is scanning for Edith, maybe isn't. But their eyes never, like Windrith never finds Edith, but Edith has her eyes trained on Windrith for a response. She needs to know. And it's one of those things where you don't know what you want, so you flip a coin, but the second you flip a coin, you know what you want. The second she read that, Edith just wished she could have torn that to pieces. And now Edith is destroyed because will she ever be able to take it back? No, she won't. Is there any salvageable part of this? Hopefully, but it'll always have been. And another part of her has died and accepted the fact that in a way she's trying to convince herself this is for the best because of what is expected of her. Her father wanted to have a serious conversation with her, and her mind goes to that's what it was going to be about. She is assuming, he said, we have to put these things behind us and do what's right for our family, wrongfully assuming. But she's just at this point lying to herself that she's having the fight where she just wants to run away, but her feet are led. And so all she's trying to do is convince herself of lie after lie after lie. And I think that when she finally can move, it's when Windrith, as they're lining up the horses to start this race, does spot Edith standing at the bottom of this stairwell, frozen. And that's when flight kicks in. She lifts her dress and she does not go back upstairs to the grandstands to her father. She just runs away to a field elsewhere for a while.
That's awesome.
That's yeah.
All of the horses line up at the starting line. The crowds are deafeningly cheering with excitement and anticipation. There's barkers taking final bets. And everyone is almost prepared.
So I imagine as we're all lining up and getting ready on the starting line, I took the letter and I folded it and I put it in the pocket of my father's riding coat, of my father's military uniform, which I'm wearing right now as we're about to enter this race. And previously my hair was all done up in like this like nice like bun, clean away from the sides of my face and stuff like that to make me look more presentable and more whatever fucking aerodynamic or whatever for this posh race or whatever. And I just pulled the thing out from behind and I just like let my wild fucking curly red hair just go down below my shoulders. And I just like grip the reins like really tightly. And it's just like a side view of like the riders kind of lined up. And you just see like my teeth are like clenched, my jaw and like the muscles in the side of my face are like rigid. And I'm just thinking of, there's just so many things that are whirling through my head right now, right? And you hear that heartbeat that came before, like when the world slowed down and everything went quiet and there's the cheering of the crowd and it goes dull for a moment. And you just see the breath of the horses in anticipation and, and then you just hear that heartbeat. And I would imagine like, as that's happening, Windrith is thinking of so many different things, and she's thinking of this interaction she had with Ludwig and her family just like an hour ago, not long ago at all before. She's thinking of Edith and maybe some of like the fun times that they've had. I mean, even the small interactions where she got mixed feelings or whatever. And right as the announcer goes to like let off the shot for the race to start, Windrith is thinking about that gun pointed at Ludwig. And it's like a very tense moment and the gun shoots and Windrith freezes. Nothing happens until the gun goes off and she realizes maybe a second later that the race has begun and the other horses are already out of the gate and she fucking spurs the horse into action a second behind.
Nice.
All right.
I'm gonna laugh if Barney wins all of this.
Fuck Barney.
I'm gonna
So-
laugh.
I had a thing I wanted to propose to you guys on how we want to handle the race, because I don't want to just narrate it all myself.
Sure.
And I think this should be a group effort.
Christian should do the entire thing in his Canadian
And
auctioneer
they're
voice.
coming around the corner. And it's
All right.
and it's Vanya doing
No,
it.
no,
And it's
because
Vanya
it
doing it by
should be-
hand. And
I forgot.
So here's what I wanted to.
It should be like Thomas Fuckery, right?
Oh yes,
Look
Thomas.
at
Fuller.
ladies and gentlemen,
Hold
welcome
on.
to the Vest.
I wanted to propose a secret vote
Oh.
Okay.
where each
Oh.
person has one vote for their major character and one vote for their minor character
Oh,
on
no.
who they
Oh,
want
God.
to win.
Like who their character actually wants to win?
Yes.
Or okay.
Okay.
No,
okay.
this is-
like,
No, it's okay.
We already know how that
Um,
chips will fall because everybody knows what
Correct.
everybody's characters wants.
With a minor, we don't
I
know
was
who's
gonna
a
say,
minor.
I forgot Paul has
We
two
can- it-
resolve
it
tokens,
could-
so there can be like some.
I have
It could
four
be
also.
what
Yeah.
well, not that's saying one for each. It could be
Hmm.
what their character want. It could also just be what the player wants to just kind of mix it in, give it a little spice.
Okay.
I will
I
leave
like
that up
that.
to you guys. I'll say each person has 2 votes. You can pick how your votes want to go.
So it's
Okay.
just these 3 contestants.
We're not going to worry about NPCs.
Okay.
There are others,
Fair.
but they
Yeah,
don't
fair,
matter.
fair. Yeah.
So if you could either give me a secret message on Zoom or a solo message on Facebook, whatever is easier for you.
Oh boy. You know what?
And I'm going
We
to
know who
calculate
Paul-
these tallies.
We know who Paul wants to win. I have to think about who Edith wants to win this race. From what limited information Edith actually has about this. Like, I think
Fuck it. I'm
Yeah.
going all in selfishly
funny.
for what Christian wants.
Christian's like, nothing else matters. This is me.
He's like 2 votes for me.
2 votes for Lefroy.
Jess is like all votes for Barney.
Yeah.
How did you know?
She's so transparent.
How did you know?
Just waiting on
I'm just
one
kidding.
more.
Could you imagine how that would end up if Barney won? How we would fucking role play
We'd
the
all
rest
just have
of
to
the-
walk into the sea together. That would be the final scene. You just walk into the ocean.
Or we just
Yeah.
kill Barney. Everybody is involved with killing both Barney and Ludwig. And then we just have to
Bet.
leave town.
I bet you that is what the
It
audience
becomes a
wants.
very different story.
Definitely wants Ludwig
Okay.
dead, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So
Really quickly, I just wanted to
Yes.
note, like, while this was happening and Martha and Xavier are up in the stands, they're just kind of watching from a distance, and Xavier is going to point out to Martha just the young love that is going on, right? Just the looks between Edith and Windrith, the Edith being frozen and kind of seeing Barnard kind of cut her off, and just that drama and things like that. And to be young, and it's also important, but we have the benefit of being older and wiser in time. And then seeing
we
poor
are young.
Edith, I know,
But we are young.
and then see poor Edith run off. That breaks his heart. And he might, I don't know if he's gonna go after her.
I almost want to spend a resolve token for while he's saying that speech. Martha's looking at Remington.
Remington?
And Remington and Martha like side-eyeing each other.
That's all that's all the
Convince
result.
Martha to leave you for Remington.
no lie. If you do that, I will spend one of Paul's 2 resolve tokens to have Xavier run to find Edith. Because the second he sees Martha's eyes even glance, he's
It's
like,
just too much.
I
he's
mean,
not playing
he's-
this game. He just grew a backbone.
No, I mean he's okay with Martha and Remington. He's okay.
He is? Oh,
He
okay.
is.
So
He
has
thinks
grown
he
backbone,
thinks he's
yeah.
going to come into a lot of money with the bet on
Yeah.
this race, and he
Yeah,
might
exactly.
still with Jess
Exactly.
rigging the
Yeah.
vote. Yeah,
Exactly.
so I will say
Oh, shit,
there
yeah,
will,
no, you don't have to spend a token. She will look toward Remington. Like that's on her mind too about young love and the mistakes that they made. She will look toward Remington,
I'm
Remington
going
definitely
to-
catches her eye back.
wearing her scarf. For
And
the
yup,
token of
Is
victory.
touching the scarf kind of thoughtlessly as he watches the horses line up.
So
Oh no.
I'm going to give time. I'm gonna split this race into thirds, so there is time for quick interactions in between sections.
Okay.
People have them.
Perfect.
Oh,
So the
nice.
first third, everyone, Windrith is a bit behind with Maid because
Yeah.
of her late start.
Like
That's okay.
like
That's okay.
far
I told
like
her
far
to let-
behind. Like, oh shit, I messed up. I was not paying attention, kind of behind. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I told her to let Handy lead until the last quarter.
Handy? You're
Handy,
calling him
And
Handy?
Catherine, you look at this and you're like, wow, that's a fucking handy lead. Like, nope.
as Paul kind of is in the middle of the pack. There's a bunch of horses kind of all together. And Paul's a good rider, but he's not the best rider, but he's keeping pace really well. And as Catherine was fully aware of, old Handy with Barnyard
Handy.
Barney Billingham is edging out towards the front.
Yep, that's good. She blows all her stamina in the lead early on. That's how she do. She's too competitive in the front. Yes.
So much worse now that it's called Edith's hand. It's so much worse.
All right, that is the first third. What is happening with people if they have their moments?
Catherine is like down at the ring and she's like running along the ring. Like she can't keep up with these horses, but she's like
But
moving
trying.
along, she's like jogging. She keeps like pulling up her little like lens and looking through, and she's like, she's obviously all in for Maid in the Lake to win, but she's also watching her brother because she doesn't want him to get hurt. Paul is a good rider, but she sees him in the middle of the pack and she's like, oh, just like stops watching Maid a little bit to watch that to make sure nobody edges up or bumps him or anything. She knows how fucking dangerous it is, and he hasn't done too many races like this, you know. So she's like, once in a while, she's waving her hand, like move over, like move over. She's very tense, running around in the mud, popping up the spyglass.
I love that.
Remington is I'd like to think he has probably like a front row seat, and he's standing up and he's kind of gripping the railing in front of him, and Joffrey's probably next to him, and he's like, Joffrey, why is she so far behind? Joffrey, what's going on?
No, Joffrey's enjoying it too. Joffrey's right up there with you.
Yeah, and he's like, what is this? This is what Joffrey? This is not what I thought you told us. Like he's kind of just like,
can't win on accident.
yeah, right.
In the sweat meme, Martha is going to turn to Xavier and she's going to place her hand over his on her arm and say, are you worried about Remington?
I worry about living up to Remington, but Remington is your past and we've made a plan for the future. So I'm not that concerned.
Ooh, does he actually seem to believe that? I'm a good read.
Not entirely, but this is what he's going with. He doesn't. I mean, he's definitely worried about living up to Remington for sure and living up to society. So that part is very much true. He doesn't fully believe that he's not worried about Remington now.
She gives his hand a little pat and says, I would never betray you, so I won't lie. I never expected to see him again. And I do care for him still.
More than you care for me?
I don't know.
That's worse than yes.
Oh.
Oh, God.
He's my past, but we never got a chance to resolve our past. A lot of it was taken from us by expectations and people and the goddamn church. Part of me is still young.
All of
The
you are
pot
still
in the
young.
phylactery.
She smiles at him with a little chuckle and then
Oh no.
kind of gives his hand a pat.
Well, after today, Remington and I will both be fairly well off.
It's never about the money, Xavier.
Of course, you've got tons of it.
I do.
Well, you and I have had all this time together. Maybe you need to talk to Remington and find out if there's something still there and if you have need
You
for
are-
time with him too,
You are very dear to me.
as you are to me.
She'll just kind of lean against him a little bit. A little sad, but unwilling to lie to him. Just
Well, shit, he's not going to
Just-
win any money or the girl.
She'll still get the money.
just trying to
conceivably.
be honest and let them feel their feelings in this unideal moment.
Yeah, he's just going to be like, we've had all this time together and he's grateful for it. And maybe then she needs to talk to Remington and figure out if there is something more there.
I owe it to us both to pursue the truth.
Whatever that is.
See, you do have a poet in you. If not, you will soon. Just give them another pat. History professors.
So,
Christian just goes, Xavier hit up Catherine, but Catherine supposedly killed her husband. I don't know.
She killed her last husband.
Listen, no. Catherine would like a pliable man.
yeah, it's true.
That's the
It's
only
gonna
man
work
she would
out.
like at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe that's his ending.
Ship
The-
it. All right.
The race continues on as we get into
Oh,
the second
okay.
third of it.
Oh, were you gonna say something, Rainy?
Yeah, I was gonna say to mirror Xavier's potential frustration there with this all of a sudden uncertainty, we would have cut to Edith just like tearing wildflowers and just throwing them in like a fit
Aw.
of just trying not to break down.
He's
That's all.
destroying flowers.
And yeah, and then I would also like to cut to Paul, who's just riding, and in his mind, Paul, even though his sister said, you know, my girl's gonna win, blah blah blah, all this stuff. In a way, Paul sees the bad start Windrith got off to, and I think what happens is Paul's looking ahead, and all he sees is Barnard, and
Can't let Barnard win.
his sister said humiliate Barnard, so now all of a sudden Paul just goes, fuck it, I'm here to prove myself. I'm gonna win
Oh,
this
you
fucking race."
fucker.
And
I
he
knew it. I
is
knew
gonna
it.
fucking push it.
What?
Yeah.
I'm about to knock you off your horse.
Dude, it's Martha's scarf, guys. It has power.
The power.
I'm about to
Power.
kick you off your horse, little boy.
like, "Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna humiliate Barnard. I have to win. She can't make up for that lead bear. Something went wrong. And Paul just riding all out. And then all of a sudden, like everybody who was riding on the horse to lose is like, no. Everyone's like, Paul, stop.
All of a sudden, Joffrey starts gripping the rails. What's happening?
Yeah. Yep. Listen, I'm
It's like
telling
the
you,
tulips. It's the tulips all over again.
everything
It's the
is
tulips
coming
all
up,
over.
Paul.
And as we move into the second third of the race, things are coming up, Paul.
Oh my God, no.
Barney still has a solid lead, as Catherine would have predicted, because that's just how the hand works.
That's how the hand goes.
That's how the
Here
hand
go Greeks.
works.
Amber, that's on the internet now.
I didn't even hear what she said, and I don't think I
It
want
wasn't
to.
what she said, it was what she did. It's
Okay.
fine.
Just censor it. Boop. Just-
Someone please censor, yeah. Try now. With Barney out in front, the bay starts getting closer and closer and closer
Holy shit.
to the point where there is less than a foot of space between the back of the hand and the front of the bay.
The back of the hand in the front of the bag.
Listen, I gotta explain it somehow.
Back of the hand in the front of the bag.
Oh my god.
Madrid,
Good society
however,
way.
Something furlong, something by a nose. Race terms.
Can I spend one of Paul's resolve tokens to smack the hand and mess with Barnard?
I mean, if you smack the hand, it's gonna go faster.
Throw it off. Actually, it's gonna wear her out.
Just
faster.
smack Barnard?
No. No.
Give Barnard a fucking cropping.
No. Paul would also know this about the horse. She's strong in the beginning and wavers at the end. If I'm
He has
also
knives
hitting
too.
her, I'm gonna wear her out faster.
You
He has
absolutely.
knives too.
Yeah. If
I
Jesse
mean,
is
I'll
willing-
take it, but I want to spend a resolve token to hit Paul.
A
Dude,
little
oh my
front
God,
hand
you
backhand.
Don't talk, my brother. I'm gonna kill Barnard.
Are
I'm
you
gonna kill
hitting
again.
Paul or the bay?
Windrith,
Paul.
get the body bag.
Paul. Okay. Yeah. If
But
Paul, if you
that's if
accept,
Paul accepts it.
Get the body bag.
Paul, do you accept?
What's the consequence? Yeah, no, Paul's gonna.
Barney
Paul,
hits you. Yeah.
You know what? Because if I come out of this and I have a fat lip and I'm bleeding or whatever, and I took a beating and I still won,
He's
then
probably
I'm
not
the
going to
more
punch you
man.
because he's holding
more
onto a
man.
horse. He's probably just going to like
Proving
kick your leg a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul's making Barnard look like more of a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Accepted.
So this altercation happens. Meanwhile, Windrith and Maid of the Lake it's this silent, intense focus that is just very Windrith. And she is she's pulled up to the back of the pack and is slowly weaving her way into the middle. She's not out of the woods yet, but she is not in last anymore. And now we
Also-
enter the midsection of this
Barnard
part.
just kicked
I
my
was gonna say-
motherfucking brother. Catherine hops the fence on the fucking track. She runs across the track, hops the mid green, and is cutting across the fucking mid green.
There's just carnies everywhere just chasing after Catherine.
He's like, that fucker just hit my brother.
They better
Um,
be disqualified.
I
From
I-
this
I- I would say if you zoom into Windrith, like as she's riding the horse and she's catching up and stuff, like obviously there's that intense focus.
And a small child.
Aw.
He says hi, Amber.
Oh, hi,
Hey,
bud.
bud. I'll
Auntie
come see you in just a
Amber.
little bit. Here, you can have it. It's just an envelope.
He wants to-
So as it zooms into Windrith's face, there's that intense focus, but you just see tears just streaming down her face.
Oh.
And I want
They're
to
cutting tracks through the mud because she's been at the back of the pack, so she's splattered.
Mm.
I want to cut to tears on Edith's face, just for a poetic cut there between the two of them. And Edith decides she's had enough of her cry. It is, dampened her emotions to the point where she knows she is expected back at the grandstands, and she begins walking her way back. We see the grandstands in the distance as she's ran into some, field. And she's making her way back up over there.
As she's walking back, she sees also making their way to the grandstands Ludwig
Oh God.
with a sheriff, I guess. It's like whatever,
Oh,
something
like a
along those
constable?
lines.
A constable.
Constable.
The authorities.
Whatever the British version of the sheriff.
Sheriff.
I guess it would be the sheriff, right? Because you had like the sheriff of Nottingham.
Constable.
The constable.
yeah.
The
No,
constable
shit,
attorney.
shit.
Yeah. So yeah, with the proper authorities.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
I don't think Edith knows Ludwig. We missed one another in that one scene where we might have,
Mm.
Mhm.
So I don't think
wasn't-
she even knows.
I wasn't sure if Ludwig might know of Edith because of Windrith. Like she's come to the house or stop by or
Ludwig would know of Edith because he wants to be in the upper echelon,
Mhm.
and he knows that's a hardcore.
They just don't know each other personally, but he
Yes.
knows who
Right.
she is. Yeah.
Like he
Right.
knows Paul and Catherine because those are the Ives kids.
Yeah,
He knows
I
Edith
pictured
because,
this as
that's the
him
hardcore
far
kid.
away from her though, like not
Oh,
something.
oh
where they're
gotcha.
gonna, like,
Just
yeah,
accept.
so-
she sees
yeah.
him in the
Yeah,
distance.
Yeah,
Cinematic.
he's, yeah,
That's a good-
he's
that's a good
going in this
scene.
way. He's going in this way.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah, we
shit's
zoom out
converging.
and see. Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Well, Xavier, if he has really nothing left, whether this race wins or loses, just going to turn to Martha and to be like, well, then regardless of the outcome of this race, I worry about poor Edith. She's run off.
I'll talk to her. She gets up and gives Xavier a kiss on the head and then she'll head down to the stands and try to intercept Edith before she can get to the box seating.
Interesting. Edith Martha.
Xavier then is going to move to sit near Lord Remington, if he will allow.
Oh Jesus, this is oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
Remington and Joffrey are like gripping the stand.
Meanwhile,
watching
Remington's
their
like,
money.
Everybody's
Joffrey,
screaming.
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Joffrey?
I mean, that's where Edith would have sat.
Yeah,
So Xavier's just gonna come join them quietly.
Oh, you just get like the look, and then you just like back to the race. Like, what the fuck? Oh, hello, Xavier. Everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine. We've just hopefully a race to win.
Where is Edith, by the way?
She ran off quite upset, but I hope she will be returning very soon.
Why did
Martha's
she
gone
run
off
off?
to talk to her. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll learn that soon enough.
Joffrey see to this, and he's going off to look for her too.
Oh.
Oh, shit!
Oh,
you
shit.
can.
Oh,
He
You've
needs to
no.
just
become-
driven your.
Oh no.
You've just driven the old flame closer toward your love.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Fucking Xavier just shooting himself in the foot every chance. he
Yeah.
gets.
I will say at this point, Martha is able to easily find Edith.
Miss
Maybe a bit
Harcourt,
disheveled. Martha, my lady Moore, good evening. Is there something, need air from the race?
Yes, it's getting a little bit tense up there, and I think some of the gentlemen are a little too invested.
Yes, there's apparently so much on the
At hand.
line of this race.
It's only
Barnyard Billingham is just screaming his name this entire race.
me. Just me. He's Jamie Tart.
Screaming his own name.
If
Oh my God.
anyone here or anyone watching is familiar with Gaston's song "Me" from the musical
Yes.
version of Beauty and the a big barnyard party Billingham energy. It's so good. Anyway,
Nice.
Yeah, Edith just kind of you see her almost start crying again. And she says like,
Come.
yes, out of my control anyway, so I suppose.
Martha's just gonna walk up to her and hug her. She's like, "Come here, Dove."
Yeah, and just I think she's out of tears, but like the sobs, you know what I mean, like the dry, like just little shake and
She'll hold her and just kind of, give her little hair pats and just say, "I know we haven't really been well acquainted, it's different circles and all, but I was quite close to your father when we were young, and
he and Xavier always speak well of you.
you can talk to me. Whatever's burdening you, I'm sure you've heard I don't really give a fuck what people think."
Yes, you have been fortunate in that regard. Unfortunately, I don't believe I have that luxury.
What is this nonsense? What would you give you that idea?
My father has lived a life of his own, and I do not envy him for it. I love listening to his stories from the places he has been, but it is different for a young woman in good society. And she looks over at the racetrack. She says, like, we're raised like prize horses, trained, examined, shown, sold to the best mate available. It's rare for girls to find someone with whom they truly connect, and rarer still to have a chance to do anything about it. I fear I had the chance and squandered it, and now I just fall in line.
Edith, you are young.
And
We're
yet,
talking about lost chances here.
and yet old
I'm a
enough,
bit ahead of you.
old enough that my future is sealed.
Can Remington show up then?
I think so. I think
Yes,
that's the
I'm
moment
cool with
where-
that. She's
Yeah.
Martha's holding your teary-eyed daughter, looking
Yeah.
down into her young,
Yeah.
puffy-eyed face with
Remington actually, I think, would
empathy, a little bit of
just-
heartache, tenderness.
go up and just like embrace both of them and like
Oh God,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
found family. You're fucked, Xavier.
What is this
Xavier.
family unit that's showing up?
And I'm gonna be like, darling, what is wrong?
Which
Xavier just
one?
comes into? He's like group
I'm
hug.
just gonna look
Did
at Remington,
did you-
sudden
did
appearance,
you
and look down at
find-
Edith.
What is wrong, Edith?
Nothing, Father.
No, it's
How
clearly
fares the race?
I'm not stupid. What is wrong? Don't say anything.
Nothing.
Martha.
Truly, it's matters of the heart of which I have no control.
Is this
The race is still happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Okay.
is this is during the race.
Okay. It's a long
This is
ass
at the
race.
this is in the
Well-
2/3 pause.
Yeah.
Is this in regards to Windrith?
And you
Oh,
Edith had no idea you had any idea about Windrith, so she kind of chokes a bit and scoffs. No, no, no.
Listen,
this is.
he
Oh.
takes an arm off and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out the letter. And he
Oh shit! And
Opens
Edith
it up.
hasn't read that, right?
Edith has not read
No.
the letter.
Fuck a
And he
duck.
says,
Oh,
I
no.
was in receipt of this letter that did not reach me as quite as soon perhaps as I would have liked it to, but it is from Windrith. And she's quite a remarkable young woman. I had a chance to talk to her before the race, and she I understand what has passed between you.
Oh,
oh. Now Martha's
And-
like.
And
His
he
eyes
just
start
looks
to
at
glow.
Martha and he's like, no need to leave, Martha. It's just you'll recognize the story, I think. They fear that they are not meant to be because of societal pressures.
yeah. I think Edith just immediately her eyes. She opens the letter. She's scanning it. She's reading it. I'm cool with ending the scene with Edith just like finishing the letter, and like the tears are gone, and she's about to unladylike run for the finish line.
Oh God! Something
Nice.
terrible is going to happen.
Yeah,
Right.
someone's gonna get trampled.
So
Ah!
The race
so it's no big deal.
continues. But with the altercation between Barney and Paul a bit underway, as predicted, the hand does start to fall a bit behind.
Yes.
No.
Paul
Founder.
is maintaining speed.
Oh yeah, where's
Windrith.
we going?
Oh yeah. Yep, I will pause. Christian, did you want to touch on Ludwig now, or did you want to wait?
Yeah, we'll say let's wait.
Okay,
Ludwig will show up when
So,
when he's
okay.
least wanted. Yeah.
excellent.
Right.
As he should. Windrith is gaining speed.
Yes.
She is
Oh my
pushing
God.
forward, maneuvering through the pack like she knows, like it's the back of her head.
Riding like her life depends on it.
Maid of the Lake is
Like
coming
always.
for revenge, baby.
Like always.
You gotta be too intense.
Old man Christian's got.
Oh
thick
man,
face.
yeah. Listen.
This is
I
a
might
book we're
have,
gonna
I might have the
discover
old
later.
back. Might have the old man back, but he's got the old man bladder.
And as the racers round the final corner and are approaching the finish line, there are two horses next to each other, keeping identical pace between Paul and Windrith.
Oh my.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
No way. Oh my.
You look over and you just see tears streaming down Windrith's face, just mud
Dude,
covered
don't
in
fuck
mud,
with it.
and tears, and she just
And-
grits her teeth.
And with the last push that the horse is able to give, Windrith pushes ahead and is the first to cross the finish line.
Oh yes, Maid of the Lake by a nose.
Oh.
So I would
Yeah.
like
Oh,
to
Paul,
tell.
you gave
Can
me
I-
all though.
I
Can
would
I
like
say-
to.
Paul will forever tell the story that he saw the tears and let up a little bit.
So
Genuinely of you.
That's good.
I
Nice.
want
That's good.
to at this point very
Catherine's
quickly.
like sprinting across the middle of the track and then just throws her hands up and just starts screaming. She's like, ah, yeah, just shameless gloating for everyone in good society.
Shameless
She's a
gloating.
widow. She's a widow with the recent title of Baroness. What fucks does she give? She does not care.
Joffrey's jumping for joy in the grandstands. Just absolutely.
Yeah. We have money again.
There is uproarious joy from the crowds.
Except for Xavier.
Just excitement for the most
Xavier's
part.
just sitting there. He's like, is my heart broken or is my new life about to begin?
Xavier is the meme of the cocaine guy from. You know what I'm talking about?
Scarface?
Sad Pablo Escobar. Sad
Elmo?
Pablo Escobar. No, you know
Oh.
that meme where he's just sitting.
That's the only cocaine one. I
Oh
know.
yeah, the Narcos
the
meme. Yeah.
Narcos one where he's just
Yep.
Xavier.
Everybody else is jumping and screaming. And
Oh,
standing
okay.
up like Xavier's finished.
I got it. Hold on, Jess. I'll put it
Oh.
in chat.
I don't know
Hmm.
memes. This is true.
Oh
It's
man.
I know
As soo-
exactly what meme you're talking
As
about.
soon as
Yeah.
you see it, you will know exactly what it is.
So good.
Oh, that is the sentiment right now.
100%.
That is the
I am
Xavier
going to
sentiment right now.
issue. I'm going to do what I did last time. Hey, future Sarah, how's it going, you fuckhead? Put that meme in the chat right now. Bye.
Yeah, but let's put that in the chat.
Oh my god.
man.
Were the votes close, Sarah?
So,
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
you guys want to know how close
Yeah,
they were?
how to
Yes.
break down.
So we had so between all of us there were 10 votes. 1 vote went to Barney.
I almost put one to Barney. I almost put one to Barney.
One
Out of
to
pity.
Vanya.
4 to Paul
4 to
Oh.
Paul.
and 5 to Windrith.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
your vote to Barney made it a tie.
It was that close.
I mean, avoided a tie.
That was me. How do you know it wasn't someone else who voted for Barney?
because
Because
I,
almost
was
did.
not
It was
voting
you.
for anyone but Barney.
It was you, Jess. We know it was you.
It
I'm,
was-
I'm honestly surprised you didn't put both of your votes to Barney.
No, Xavier had a
Yeah.
lot on this. Xavier
Uh,
actually, sadly,
Troy.
Xavier's the only one coming out losing here.
Mhm.
Troy,
Not yet.
if you had
I got some
put
resolve
your-
tokens left.
If I
Troy,
had,
if,
it would have been a
if-
tie. Yeah.
if you had put your second vote to Barney,
Oh
it would have
shit!
been a tie.
Monologue, Xavier, have you monologued?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've already monologued.
Fuck!
I've already
Oh,
monologued.
this would have been so much better. This moment of losing everything. Shit.
Yeah, but here's the thing is I'm the facilitator and I don't have a monologue token, but I'm going to make one up and then use it on Xavier right now.
Xavier,
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
tell
Yes,
us
with
how this
permission.
feels.
I will use 2 of my facilitator resolve tokens for this.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
because this is a good moment.
This is like the Cartman. The tears of ultimate sadness. Scott
Yeah.
Tenement, how does that feel?
And then you just lost the money too.
Yeah, Remington has just left. This person who has traveled the world and has seen things that he has only read about and hoped to see someday. And the love of his life has already left before him, and he's watching this race. And he's wondering as it's going on whether it's even worth it, right? Like,
Oh.
even if he gets the money, he's lost the girl. Even if he gets the money, he could possibly get the girl back. But
But he actually lost. I just want to add to how bad it is. You lost your girl's money. It wasn't
lost-
even your money.
I know, I know. And I was just gonna say that was the last thing. It's just like it's not his money. So if he can win this race, he'll at least return Martha's money in tenfold, and he can leave all of that with her. And then that horse just squeaks by, and he's feeling like an idiot. He's lost everything.
Oh,
He doesn't even know how he can face anyone again. What's he thinks that Edith and Remington also lost a lot of money, and he's worried about how they're going to be.
Oh shit. Yeah, he doesn't even know. Oh fuck. Like, why is Joffrey jumping up and down?
yeah.
Why is Joffrey jumping up and down?
That'd be even more of like a
Maybe he was-
revelatory
yeah, I
moment
was like,
where you just go, oh my god. like,
Yeah, he's even more of a big idiot. Yep, he bet on the wrong horse. He doesn't know what he's
Oh.
gonna do next. He doesn't know how he's gonna even face society.
So, with Xavier's revelation, multiple characters all make it to the finish line at the same time.
Catherine is fucking covered in mud. She's like, like a maniac.
So I know
So
I
is Windrith.
messaged
She
you
has a character. She's
privately.
like, yes, yes, win.
So, yep.
So I know I messaged you privately, Sarah. It actually works out pretty well because Catherine is on the field. So once she passes the finish line and rides, just a little further to get the horse to slow down, she turns the horse around and she sees Catherine just covered in mud running around like a crazy person. And she just she goes to like yell out Catherine's name, but like there's like something caught in her throat, and then she like pushes through it, and she tries one more time, and she yells out Catherine's name.
When you did it! Oh my God, you smoked them! You didn't even let him get a head start. You just fucking sat there at the beginning and you still smoked him. Eat shit, Barney! Ah, do not mess with us.
She rides the horse a little closer, also for Catherine's sake, so she doesn't have to scream "Eat shit, Barney" over and over again.
She will though. Like it's not like you're
She did,
asking
though.
much.
She doesn't even care.
Windrith rides up to you, and when she gets close to you, you see her face, and it is not at all what you would expect. There's no joy, there's no happiness at this winning the race. Her face is, at first you're like, okay, her face is kind of covered in mud and stuff like that because she was at the back, but then you see very clearly the streaks from her crying, and you see like tears in her eyes and stuff. And she kind of, from the vantage point she has on the horse, she can probably see out into the crowd a little bit and stuff like that. And I'm going to leave this one up to Christian. Christian, do you want her to see Ludwig with the deputy or the sheriff or whoever?
Take some time. Continue. Ludwig will
Okay.
come in when appropriate.
Okay.
Ludwig's loaded in
So-
the chamber. He just hasn't come out yet.
She looks at you and she says, Catherine,
That look
I've got-
stops Catherine dead. She just kind of like stops in her tracks. Her arms just sort of drop and she just sort of like freezes with like a look of dread.
she looks at you and she says, Catherine, I've got one more favor I've got to ask of you.
What does it win? Anything.
She says, there's something that I've got to do, and I'm afraid I don't have a lot of time. And she says,
What do you need?
my family won't have any peace here. And I'm afraid there's nothing left for me. She says, I need to borrow your horse for one more ride, and then you'll get it back in the morning, but I won't see you again.
Win. Whatever it is, you don't need to do this.
She says, I'm afraid I made a deal with the devil and he's ready to cash in.
Fuck the devil. I'm Catherine Ives. You don't need to do this. She's gonna walk, like, get right up to the horse and like kind of grab for Wynn's hand. Be like,
Windrith just kind of
"Stay
like
with me."
Windrith just kind of like touches the side of your face like this and just like leans down closer to you, and she says, take care of my family.
Resolve token. I have 4. I'm fucking cashing these
Oh,
fuckers in.
shit.
So first resolve token, Edith arrives at that point.
Oh, okay.
That puts,
Oh,
Oh, right. He's
That
like,
does-
oh, me.
all right, what else do you have, Christian? Because that does put a little bit of a damper on my plan here.
So
There
my
will
thought,
be
my thought
Sorry, go
was, because I know what you sent to me, but my thinking now is, right, we don't have to end this in murder unless we want to, but
no, and it doesn't have to end in
always
murder.
pro murder.
but I know we know how you feel, Amber. But Edith shows up. Happy reunion.
I might
And then we
actually
deal with Ludwig.
decline it. I might actually decline that resolve token only because
Okay.
Edith
Mm.
did have that detour with Martha and Remington. That
And
would have
float her down.
Yeah, and like I still think that Edith and Wynn can have a really powerful seed.
The other thing too is
Follow
that Wynn knows she's fucked already just by what she's done already. Like she knows that Ludwig is out to get her and out to get her family. And if he like gets a hold of her, she's fucked. Like she's going to prison. She won't be able to take care of her family. Her family will lose everything. So like Windrith is going to
thinks
do
that. She
everything.
doesn't know it for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Yeah,
she thinks that,
within
but
what
she's
she
going to
thinks,
try
yeah,
to do.
okay.
She's going to try to do everything in her power to avoid Ludwig. So like if she sees Ludwig, she's going to take off on the horse.
Okay, so
I mean, and that's the plan anyhow,
I'm
but-
fine with her seeing Ludwig walking around with the sheriff. Then, if that's what you want to do.
Okay. So at that point, Catherine, everything is getting really close, and she looks at you and she says, Ludwig's here with the sheriff. She says, I've got to go, they're gonna look for me at home. I won't have time to stop by, but just, she says,
Hey, Win, go and then come back. Meet me at the stables after midnight. We'll sort this out. I can help you. I owe you.
she looks at you and she says, I'll do my best.
I owe you everything in my new life. Let me help you with yours. And she just gives her hand a squeeze. This is a firm
Meaningful
A
squeeze.
squeeze is of camaraderie. And she will let Win go.
Okay. And then at that, Wynn looks out and she's looking for one last person. She's looking to see somebody. Does she see Edith in the crowd?
Yeah, but I think Edith's behind a big portion of the crowd, right? But I mean,
Sure.
Sadly, all she sees is broken-hearted Xavier.
No, she
Just
sees
kidding.
Edith, but
I'm
Edith
just
is
kidding.
small and in the middle of a big crowd.
At
Yeah.
a distance.
She sees Edith at a distance and she kind of just like wipes her cheeks and she just again she looks down, she sees Ludwig, she sees the sheriff, and she just grits her jaw and she just spurs the horse into action and she just takes off from the field.
Nice.
Oh no. Okay.
Fucking A.
Stand there. She's upset. She's overwhelmed. People are trying to hurt her friend. She's looking around covered in mud now, ready to kick ass.
And up comes Paul.
Also covered in mud.
Yeah.
We're all just in mud everywhere.
Reaches down and like touches his sister on the shoulder, and he just says like, I think we did it. I think we did it.
Paul, I honestly can't tell if you threw that or not.
Pretty good, right? Pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's never gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she gets like a excited, like really excited grin for a moment. She just like, she starts to like lift a little bit, like she's gonna jump on his side, and then she realizes we have to play it cool. We can't look like we conspired at all.
Yeah, and he just says like, yeah, and he goes right, and then he puts on like this terrible sad face because he also made a ton of money on the bet that he made
Yep,
against.
yep.
You know what I mean? So he's just like,
She'll offer to shake his hand, very sportsman-like.
Yeah.
Winner
They shake-
to a loser.
they,
to
yeah,
the
they shake
crowd.
hands very, very.
Then just like give him a little
convincingly.
wink, like yeah.
Yeah. Actually, do you want? Oh, he can't give you the bay. That's not his sword. That's not your horse.
Not his
Never
horse.
mind.
No.
Never mind.
Can Edith arrive at this point?
Yeah, I think maybe
Because
that's
Edith
where
needs to be
catches
involved
up.
with this stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's where Edith catches up to that crowd, right? Where she just saw Windrith with Catherine and with who
Now
you know
Windrith
was
is a-
sponsoring her.
He's a black dot with a streak of red hair just disappearing into the
Yeah,
horizon.
and
Ludwig probably sees that, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll say that he does, and he's like, this way.
and I think a very unladylike, but taking a page out of Martha's book of not caring, right? Edith runs to Catherine and she's where's she
Yeah.
where's she go where's she going? What happened? Did she win?
Amber, check the chat.
She did. She's extraordinary. And so is the horse.
Yeah, and in a way, like you see like Edith smiles and she says like, she is that. Where is she going? And can I meet? And like not to talk to myself, but Edith looks at Paul and it's just like,
I will be the Paul again. Hello.
I think-
My job. I am here to be Paul.
I think Edith just wants to get to Windrith.
Oh, and asked to borrow the bay?
Yeah, but I don't think have we decided if Edith is a good rider? I don't.
Windrith is booking it.
I
Windrith
think
is
she
headed
takes the carriage.
headed to a destination that
She
only
might ride.
Catherine knows.
Oh, fair. Okay. Yeah. So in that case, Edith is just looking around, lost.
Edith, why don't you come over to my estate this evening for some drinks to, you know, celebrate our sportsmanlike run, and perhaps Windrith will make an appearance.
Yeah. At first, I start answering. I should see to my father. He's
just give her a look.
I shall call upon you this evening.
Yes, and perhaps let your father know you'll be spending the night in our guest rooms as, a welcome guest.
Yeah, Edith looks very confused but very hopeful, and does kind of curtsy. Lady Ives, thank you for your hospitality, and she scampers off and towards direction of hopefully. Honestly, I think she's gonna go look for Xavier over her father, although Remington did want to have a serious conversation with her. So, but she scampers off in the direction of the grandstands.
Yeah, Xavier's just sitting in the stands.
Like all Remington wants to
Alone,
do is tell
everyone's
this kid
gone.
it's okay, and she's completely like avoiding him. He's trying so hard to be like, it's okay.
She's like, "It's too
And she's
late,
like,
Dad."
no. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have not been that close,
True.
So Catherine and Xavier are the only ones with monologue tokens left, correct?
Yep.
So one of those monologue tokens got must because 4 people have done monologues, so there should only be 1 token left.
Yeah.
I
I know
think that
Amber,
I
Catherine
spent
has
mine.
not.
Well, you used one, Sarah. You said you used one on Xavier.
Xavier got a second monologue because of that.
Oh,
I
that's
think that I think I might have used mine. I can't remember.
Okay.
I have an idea of.
Free for all on the monologue tokens. If there's a really good
Amber.
monologue, just take it.
I was gonna
Amber,
say,
did you see the message I sent you?
Yes, I just
Okay.
saw that. I'm trying to think.
You should send something direct to me.
Yeah, okay, hang on.
While they do that, maybe
Edith thought because we have been it's about 2 hours.
yeah,
Gotta start tying some bows. Do we
so
wanna
what
have-
let's do a quick rundown of like scenes we need to have is a Remington Edith, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to have another Xavier Martha.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we might not though, actually. I don't think we need another Xavier Martha.
Oh.
Are we
okay,
leaving it at the
No.
the
I
meat?
don't know. I think tying that up with a bow with Remington.
Well, no.
and Martha
In that
might
case,
be good.
we
Yeah.
need either a Xavier Martha or a Xavier scene. You know what I mean?
Don't forget though, I'm assuming just like we had in the first time we played this game, Sarah, we'll have that final scene where it's after, right?
There-
And
yes.
it's what is
Like an
everyone
epilogue.
doing or what is happening, the epilogue, yeah.
Yes, so there you do have an epilogue at the end of Good Society, which I will go over when we get there.
What else do we need to have? We need to have a obviously we need to have a Windrith and
Edith.
Ludwig
And Edith.
Oh.
and Edith.
We need a
Windrith and
showdown. Yeah.
Ludwig Constable. So
So I think these are the 3/4 we need. Amber, you're muted.
Oh, I've got an idea. I'm shooting by Troy. 1 sec
Okay.
here.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be a Xavier Martha scene because Xavier is just kind of leaving it. That was kind of his goodbye to Martha.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah. That was his goodbye to Martha.
You could do that at Remington, Martha, then, because they didn't really resolve. We'll see. Whatever.
So do we want to? I think Remington and Martha can be touched on in the
Yeah,
epilogue.
that's the epilogue. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So do we want to have Remington and Edith before they leave the horse race?
sure.
Yes, I think that's fine.
While the Blisses plot.
Yeah, and that makes sense because we did just see Edith walking away with an invitation to the Ives
Mhm.
for the night. And she was looking for her father or Xavier or someone. And she finds her father, Remington.
I think that he was looking for her because she ran off, so he excused himself from Martha and finds her. And Edith, what did you listen? You have to stop running off when I'm trying to talk to you. I know that running off is probably a family trait, but it's something we should work to change.
Fair enough, Father. Yes. What is it you wanted to discuss? Let us have this conversation. And tonight I must call upon the Ives estate for a dinner, celebratory dinner for the sportsmanlike race, where I will be spending the night.
Fair enough. That's quite charitable of Catherine. Listen, again, this letter I received and this girl, Windrith, Look, I
Yeah,
haven't
Edith's eyes just down.
always. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I have not always been the best father. I'm aware of that. I think perhaps walk with me back to the carriage while we talk.
Yeah, walking and talking.
Perhaps you don't know a lot of things about me or your mother, but I was married to Elizabeth under circumstances that were not ideal. And by that I mean that I was very much in love with someone else, Martha. You've heard me talk quite often about her, but she was excommunicated by the church, and my own father would not allow us to be married, so Elizabeth was presented as a sensible solution.
Well,
And I
in
did.
the end, that was good for the family. And Edith's trying to like justify it. Right?
It was,
That's-
but it wasn't good for me. Nor was it good for Martha, and ultimately, nor was it good for Elizabeth, because I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and one of them was I tried to make her something that she was not, and because of that, well, she's not with us anymore. And I ran away from that. For your entire life, I ran away from everything, and I owe you an apology for that. And I am truly sorry for that, Edith.
You owe me no apologies, Father.
I do.
Lived a life many could only
You
dream
have
of,
lived a
and-
life of material things, but I should have been there. And I also owe you more than that, because I cannot, regardless of what the family or what society expects, I cannot in good conscience, having lived through it, allow my daughter to live through the exact same thing. That certainly altered the trajectory of my life in a tremendous way. So what I am trying to say is that I am never, ever going to stand in the way of your happiness with Windrith.
Yeah, and at that, she looks up at you. She's been very composed and she's accepting her lot in life kind of thing lately. Like she's been up and down. It's a roller coaster. Oh, I have a chance to see Windrith tonight at the Ives. Oh, but what does it really mean? She read the letter. You know what I mean? Like, like, am I ever going to be able to even show my face around her again? And then you say that, and Edith's face is, it shows that hope is still there. And she just kind of like smiles and she says, well, we shall see about that potential tonight. I may have written a letter of my own describing my hesitance to engage in such a relationship given the expectations placed upon me by the society. And I fear someone as spirited and practical as Windrith will see my words for finality and may not be so open to the idea anymore. However, like you said, I must see this through to know whether or not this will change the trajectory of my life. And thank
Daughter,
you, Father.
He takes her hand and he goes, daughter, if there's any advice I can give you is to you must go to her and you must explain how you feel. Cannot let it sit. I have let things like that sit for years and years and years, and there's no place on this earth that you can go to get away from it. So you must go to her. And as far as society is concerned, I wouldn't be too concerned. The Remingtons, the Hogwarts just came into a lot of money. And I think I've seen a lot of the world, and I'm beginning to appreciate the beauty of our own hometown. I think there's things that might want to keep me here for a while, but it doesn't mean that there's things that you might not want to see out in the world.
And I kind of, Edith kind of like taps her father and just goes, oh, Papa, maybe you should bring more of the world here. Like that circus I asked for? And like just, but no, she says, let us see where the night leads before I run away from anything. Perhaps we can all stay here.
Fair enough.
good
Like-
by me.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
All
See,
right.
And
Okay.
So, looking over our list, Troy, did you want to touch on that now? Because I think this is the last scene before the finale scene and epilogue.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds good. So, Catherine knows that Ludwig is looking for her. Catherine knows that she is in tremendous trouble if Ludwig
mean
finds
Windrith?
her.
Windrith.
Sorry, Windrith. Thank you. I was just talking to Amber
Yeah, it's all
extensively.
good.
But Windrith knows that she's in big trouble if Ludwig finds her. So she knows Ludwig saw her ride off from the racetrack, and she's absolutely positive that Ludwig is going to go to her house because that's where she knows that Windrith would go. But in a turn of events, that is not where Windrith goes. Windrith goes to a house that she has been to maybe once or twice before. In fact, she's often left money at this house to pay for her rent. And it is none other than Ludwig's house. She rides hard to get there. It's getting dark now. Obviously, the race was kind of at sunset. It's dark out. It's quiet. The town is empty because most of them were at the carnival. And the ones that have come home are tired from a long day of, revelry and excitement. And she ties off the horse a ways away from the property as to be quiet and to not be seen. I'm going to say she ties it off to if there's a little bit of a wooded area, she ties it off to a tree.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's very symbolic. And in the dark of night, she moves forward fast and quietly towards Ludwig's house. And she looks around to see if there are any lamps burning or anything that may indicate that he's home. And if he is not home, she will go inside and she will wait. And if she is home, she will wait till the lights go out.
I will say that Ludwig was at the race, so he is likely not yet home.
He probably took a detour to the Windrith family. Yeah.
So the house is dark and empty.
Okay.
Catherine is going to invite all involved parties except for Banyard back to her estates to celebrate tonight.
except for Barnyard. What a slap in the face.
The billing bomb.
That's going to Arthur, Xavier, Edith, Windrith's family, her adorable brothers, her mom, everyone can come on back to the estates to celebrate tonight.
Well, that's just poor form.
Windrith's brothers are astonished, and the little ones are stoked. Because if they thought Edith was a princess, they look at Catherine, they're like, so that's the queen, right?
Pretty much.
And a celebration she will have.
Beautiful.
excellent.
So Windrith will gain access to Ludwig's home, and she will wait there in the dark. And we can be as vague about this as you want, Christian. We don't have to necessarily role play anything.
I'm
for
fine with
either
this.
time's sake or for the viewers.
I'm down for getting killed.
Which terms of service?
You just hear the
Yeah,
and
that's
tumbling around the dark, and then the click
And then
of
you hear
a hammer
the-
getting pulled back.
No, yeah.
God.
Or the and then and then it gets wet and gurgling.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. So you're waiting in
Yeah.
the dark, and you hear you hear some drunken singing, kind of stumbling down towards the house, in the mother tongue of whatever. We never did. Ludwig is Dutch or Irish or whatever. We never figured out what the hell he
Not
was.
Irish.
And so you hear just this fucking key is so done. You hear stumbling, and he drops the keys, and you hear more stumbling. He has to pick them up, and you're sitting in the dark waiting for this guy, and finally the door opens, and is fucking bitch, I can find you. And he kind of stumbles in, and you get ready, but then you hear chamber pot Just like pees. So it's like a stream, but he's like kind of like wavering there, peeing. And do you want to look him in the eyes when you do it, or are you gonna come up and just off him? Do you want a final moment?
Nope. I think I would like it to be quiet, and it's just I've got a knife, and
Alright.
I'm just going to make it quick and quiet, and that's it.
Okay.
And there's not going to be a word shared between us.
He never knew what hit him.
Cold and efficient.
Yep.
And there is a particular place that I've dragged this body. Well, I bring it to the horse, and then I bring it to a site that we've used once before for maybe a similar purpose. And I unceremoniously dump Ludwig's fat fucking corpse in that spot.
Sheesh.
And I kind of look up at the moon and look up at the stars and try to get a gauge of the time. And I imagine
It's a
it's
lake.
getting,
It's a very deep lake.
I like that. And I'm trying to get a gauge of time, and I realize that it's probably close to midnight. And I
You've got about 15 minutes to midnight, and it is a 20 to 25 minute ride to the Ives.
yeah, yep. I think about that, and I think about I can't help but think about letting Catherine down because I said I would try to be there. And yeah, I just think about all of the incredible moments of friendship that we've shared. But of course I think about Edith, but there is one thing that I think about, and it's always been on the forefront of my mind, which is my family. And I take the opportunity to ride to my home, hoping to see all of my family, many of which are gone at the party. I don't know if maybe mom and dad stayed behind because of dad's condition. That's up to you, Sarah.
Or went home early because,
Or went home early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Maybe
say
having the
they-
littlest ones or something. Who knows?
I'll say that they left Connor in charge of the little ones, but your parents are back at the house.
Okay. So I go home, and they're probably sleeping at this time. And I walk in really quietly, and I look and see, my mom and dad, and they're sleeping in their bed, and they look so peaceful. The only time when they look like they're not plagued with suffering and just fucking life kicking them in the teeth is when they're asleep. And I just lean down and I softly kiss my mom on the forehead. And then I walk over to the other side of the bed, and I just grab my dad's hand just ever so slightly. And I just whisper something in his ear, and you can't quite hear it. And I kiss him softly on the head. And then when I, open my hand, you see his medal is there in his hand. And with that, I leave Catherine's horse, and I take the horse of my family's, the one that they use to work the land. And I ride off into the night.
So you do not go to the Ives estate.
I do not go to the Ives estate.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow. During the party at the Ives estate, it's quite lively early on. There's lots of people here: Martha, Xavier, Remington, everybody. Catherine makes a point to pull especially Remington, Edith, and her eldest brother Connor aside at different points during the evening, not all at once, so it does not look suspicious, and to make sure that they know very well that Windrith was here at the party all night. She won't explain anything further, but she'll give them a look of absolute certainty, like,
Just out of curiosity,
with us.
you don't have to get too into it, but like, what are Catherine's thoughts on Connor? I mean, I know Catherine is obviously single, and Connor is a strong and handsome young lad who works hard and isn't from this place. So he's not corrupt and full of shit.
We'll see how he handles this alibi job before making any
Sure.
determinations.
Connor he knows Catherine, and he knows Windrith trusts Catherine with her life.
Yeah.
And so therefore, Connor's a smart enough boy to know he also trusts Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
And with her bringing this up, he pauses for a minute and then sees the look and then understands at least this is important. And she goes, "Yeah, of course. I don't know why anyone would think otherwise, ma'am."
She is the guest of honor.
Of
After all.
course.
She'll give him a pat on the shoulder. Good lad. And continue mingling about.
I'm tempted to say
Sure.
Edith.
Yeah,
Mm,
Edith. You get the same sort of thing. Like,
but I don't
she'll
think
be here
Edith
at
would
midnight, but this
take
is
it as
before
well.
midnight.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know if she'd take it as well. I mean, she will keep the secret. She understands the context, the implication. Because I think Edith at some point knew about the Ludwig constable thing, maybe. But even then, she understands the severity in your tone. But you say you're not going to elaborate, which is fine. But she says something along the lines of, but I must speak with her.
She'll be here at midnight.
She's just running a little late.
Okay. Yeah. In that case.
She'll give her hand a little squeeze.
Yep. Little hand squeeze.
She adores you.
And Edith.
Yep.
squeezes-
I know. Fuck me.
Squeezes back. And waits.
So many hand squeezes of solidarity.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think at this party, Martha has a few drinks. And
Yeah.
she is musing with Xavier
Oh.
right
Is
now.
Xavier there?
Assuming Xavier comes to the party. He was invited.
Jess, does he come?
He does come to the party. He does come to the party. Yep, he's there.
Xavier, why is it in this society, in all its goodness, that women always have to choose between losses? Seems rather unfair. And she's looking at poor Edith, looking so crestfallen right now across the room. Why can't we just have it all?
Because life isn't fair, my dear. You know that.
Why can't this time around, the second time around, I have both? And she looks at Xavier.
She just went full Vikings. Martha is now Ragnar.
And she just quirks an eyebrow a little bit. Summer and winter and all the seasons between.
And that was the last year of the dry vineyard.
I don't want to choose. You make me happy. Remington makes me happy. Look
My
at him.
dear.
She just looks across the dead ball and just look at him. Look
That's
at
Canada's ass.
look at him. Look at you. And she like holds his jaw for a minute. I'm fabulously wealthy. Even what you lost is not even a dent. We could travel with an experienced guide. Back at Remington.
So experienced.
You're always so daring, Martha. You
That's
really
why
know.
you love me.
You really know
She's
how to push the
smile.
envelope.
You never have to do anything you don't wish to. But I figured again, I'd let you know the truth. And the truth is, I don't want to choose. I love you. And it's been some time since I've been well acquainted with Remington, but it'd be a lie to say I have not held a candle for him all these years.
Oh
Life is
my.
complicated. You don't have to decide tonight. She'll kiss him on the cheek again.
Oh my. No, Martha, no. I never want you to have to choose. I've always wanted to give you your heart's desire, and if this is it, let's see where it goes.
I have to be there. I need to see the look on Remington's face. You are going to surprise him. And then she will chuckle. And at some point, Remington will turn and just see Martha, just the cat that ate the canary, grin, staring at him. And
Oh.
whatever the fuck is happening on Xavier's face at this moment.
Xavier's just like,
This changes my plans a lot. I had
So-
different plans, but oh my goodness.
Technically, you can still travel.
yeah.
Hey, just because we're coming up on the end, and I think Catherine, you're the only one that hasn't had the opportunity to monologue, right?
It is. She's gonna go to the stables after
Yeah, Windrith doesn't show
midnight,
up.
because Wynn was supposed to meet her there too, and with Edith, and I'm sure they're gonna wait a long, long time, and eventually Catherine is going to tell Edith, "I'm so sorry, love. She mean the world to her. I'm sure she'd be here. Something must have tied her up."
She's just gonna keep waiting. She doesn't give up. She just looks and she says,
Hmm.
"I'll stay. You can go to sleep."
I want to give another hand squeeze, but it's been too many. It has been too many. She'll just sigh and she'll leave Edith to herself. She knows she needs some time alone. But as Catherine is leaving down the quite extensive stables, she stops by that same stall that she had paused at before, the one with the fresh score and the old polished wood. And she'll open the gate and let herself in. There's never any horses in this stall. And she walks the small straw-filled area, scuffs it over with her shoe to look at the mark there. She just looks around the stables for a moment in this stall. And she smiles. It's a smile of satisfaction, but not joy. Because she knows whatever's happened, Wind got her guy. And then she'll head back on inside.
Night goes on. It's an Ives party, so it's a good time for everyone involved, despite the varying degrees of emotional damage that are going on throughout the estate and its grounds. And the night slowly fades to darkness. Everyone there finds a guest room, is able to rest their weary feet. The Erling boys are astonished at what large beds look like, and
It's so squishy.
What do they call these things? Those are apple pies. These are so much better than mud pies.
Hold on, scrolling up to see the names. Little Daniel, the youngest, takes it upon himself to construct the finest pillow fort the Ives have ever seen, because he has never seen so many pillows in one place. However many rooms Remington, Martha, and Xavier take up, no one questions it. It just-
But
Remington's
there was
probably like,
another room.
Remington's probably like, well, you know, the rumors about me and Thomas were true, so.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And for like a minute,
As these dirty old swingers just corrupt this young academic. This is a whole other story, y'all.
for a minute, Joffrey thinks he's going to have a peaceful night.
For 1 minute.
For 1 minute. Edith just waits in the stables. And the ground gets uncomfortable, so she sits herself on a hay bale just to get off the floor. And despite her greatest efforts to stay up, around 3 a.m., sleep finally kicks her. And she ends up falling asleep on top of the hay in her muddy finery. So now we move to our epilogue. And the way I've done it a couple different ways, but I think I would like to do the epilogue the way we do our between, our re-intros, where each person just tells me what happened with their character.
I just need to go before Edith. That's all.
Fair.
Why don't we start with Catherine?
All right. Catherine is some beautiful, beautiful new foals that she is very excited to rear up. Little mix of Old Bay and Maid of the Lake. They are going to be extraordinary animals. They're so full of life. She loves working with them out in the pastures. It's summer now, and they're young and spry and full of life. And they bring her a spot of joy. She doesn't think so much of that stall anymore. Once in a while, she pays a visit. And once in a while, she pays a visit to a tranquil little lake that she's known too well with an old friend. But for the most part, her life is full of light, and she stopped wearing her morning blacks. She's wearing color again, and lace and light things and whatever pleases her. And she doesn't care so much what people say about her hair or her attire or her attitude. She is pretty damn wealthy, and she's really filling her father's shoes with her business acumen, her eye for horses, the pairs she's producing, the animals she's rearing up and training. She's winning more races. She's riding in a few herself now. And her life is good. Sometimes she wonders about her old friend, but she likes to think that her life is good too, wherever she's made it. She's, now that Ludwig's estates have opened up, it was nothing to purchase and grow the Ives estates themselves. So Windrith's farm, her family's land and whatnot, belongs to the Ives, but they are paid fair wages, good wages for working the land. Their lives have been made more comfortable. They are friends of the family. They are welcome over. They are educated. And she sees a lot of her friend in her friend's younger siblings. They're kind. Windrith had been through a lot, but it never made her unkind, even though it made her cold sometimes. And Catherine admires that. And she sees that in her siblings. And that is something she is glad to protect and nurture. So, yeah, the kids have a choice. They can, I'm sure they're still working the farm as their family had done for a long time, but they're also welcome to work with the horses if any of them are taking a liking to it. Catherine is more than happy to have the extra hands.
I will say, actually, Philip, the 13-year-old, the middle of the boys, was the one that had the most interest in horses growing up, but never really had a chance to. So once Catherine realizes his interest, he's the one that would definitely fall into her wing and want to learn more.
She makes sure that he learns on Maid in particular.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Let's move over to Xavier.
Yeah, so after a fun night with Martha and Remington, or maybe
Jesus.
or maybe a couple fun nights. I think Xavier really wants to he hasn't quite figured out who he is and what his life is. So he kind of leaves Martha a note just saying he had all this time with her and she has this time now to reconnect with an old flame. And that Xavier had overheard a business conversation from an old student of his named Paul. And
He
he
Something
hopes
about-
to the Lefroy business.
Something about Lefroy.
he hopes to pay Martha back for all the money that he lost. So he's going to travel the world on this business adventure and hopefully promote this product and
Jesus, I love it.
repay Martha back. And hopefully after he's gained some world experience, maybe he can join Martha and Remington again. Once he's figured out
On
some
more
life
even
stuff.
footing.
And
I
I
just-
will say, Xavier and Paul,
Yeah.
Lefroy writes back,
Yes.
and they're interested.
I knew it.
So, in a weird way, Xavier and Paul fall into a kind of partnership and find success with the Lefroy brothers. Are they
There
the
we
Johnson
go.
brothers?
Johnston, something.
Yeah.
The
The
Lefroy bros.
Johnson, yeah.
Johnson brothers.
Nice.
So it takes him time, but Xavier does well for himself.
Nice.
It'd
Yep.
be
Gets
and
to
that
see
is-
quite a lot of the world peddling Lefroy.
Yep. Yep.
Christian, let's talk about Remington.
So Remington is done running away from the things that he's been running from. And he's ready to, he's faced up with a lot of things. He's ready to assume some responsibilities that he's been avoiding. And he's not going to go anywhere this time. He's pretty much done traveling. And he also has a daughter who's very, very brokenhearted. So part of what he's going to do is he takes some of his winnings, and I like to think that he has some sort of kind of come to Jesus meeting with Catherine at some point where he admits that they fixed the race to lose and he bet the wrong way, but provide some of those winnings to her to make sure that Windrith's family is well taken care of and educated. And just as they are welcome in the Ives estate, he does everything in his power and instructs Joffrey to do the same to make sure that those children have advantages that they would not otherwise, are educated, and he's going to make sure the money is set aside for them for when they go into the society, regardless of what they decide to do. And he's also going to oh nice, he enjoys the letters he receives from Xavier. just put Xavier's given his letters during his travels. Him and Martha, I like to think, stay close by. Don't give a shit about what everybody thinks about them.
I like to
And,
think they raised some hell as if they were young.
yeah, absolutely.
They
Just,
do
you know,
Absolutely.
completely juvenile shit together.
absolutely, absolutely, all the time. Pretty soon
There
they're
are-
off the social calendar
There
because
are
people don't
a-
invite them anymore.
there
But
They're
are-
their
like out
parties-
there, like pushing crops down in the shape of a dick in the middle of the night. Like just
There are a couple rumors of reports of Remington helping Martha climb a tree.
Yep, that's what we were doing.
yeah, totally.
Oh no.
That's up to interpretation, fuckers.
Yeah, totally. And so I would think that he's found his place where he wished he had been all along. So he's very happy with Martha, and they remain young at heart for a long time to come. But he also remains very close and concerned with Edith. I think we need to find out what she does next.
Windrith.
Oh yeah, that's
All
right.
right.
Windrith has to go first.
So, Windrith's epilogue comes in the form of a letter that is written to Catherine. It says, "Catherine, my dearest Catherine Ives." And this is some months later now. It's summer. It's been, I don't know, 6 months or however long.
About 6 months, yeah.
Yeah. This is the first time you've heard from Windrith. And the letter says, Catherine, I've missed you so much. I hope you and your family are doing well. She says, I've been on the road for quite some time now, but I've finally settled down. She says, I have a small cottage in the woods about 4 miles north of a small little town. And she says the name. She says, it has this beautiful cobblestone bridge. I've been there once before. She says, the cottage isn't much. It's small, but I've built it with my own hands, and it's sturdy. She says it keeps out the cold. It's not too far from a small stream. And at nighttime, when I try to sleep, sometimes it calms me. She says, and in the morning when I wake up, I hear the birds chirping and the small woodland creatures scurrying about without a care. It's a beautiful place, and I think you would love it. She says, but I do miss horses. I do miss riding. And sometimes I feel alone. Sometimes when there's thunder and it's storming outside, I go to this small meadow not too far from my plot of land. And when the rain pours, I take off my riding boots and I just dance. And I dance in the rain. I wonder, Catherine, do you think she's ever danced in the rain? I would give everything to have one dance with her in the rain. Perhaps you can meet me here someday. I'll give you the best address I know to get to me. There's a small trail that leads off north into the woods. You can find me there. You're the greatest friend I've ever known, and I know you're taking care of my family. I love you, Catherine, and maybe I'll see you again soon. Windrith.
Bitch, you're
Eat
taking
it.
a road trip.
Please zoom in on Barnard. No, I'm just kidding.
So, Catherine, it's obviously up to you whether or not you share that letter with Edith.
Oh yes, we're taking a road trip.
Yeah.
She will definitely before she shares it with Edith, she will make sure that she tells Edith's family, not Edith's family, Windrith's family that she's heard from her and she's all right. And as soon as she knows that she can share more information, she will. She's sure that they'll be seeing each other again soon.
I will say, when Catherine does tell Windrith's family,
she's gonna yeah.
she just barely sees Windrith's dad's hand twitch, and if you reach out for his hand, he will
she
give
does.
yours a gentle squeeze as best he can.
She'll tell him that she's made a home with her own hands and that he would be proud.
And you can tell by his eyes that he is.
We gotta go on a road trip. I'm gonna find that mopey, angsty teenage girl. I'm like, get your shit. If you don't know how to ride well, you're gonna learn real fast.
So, speaking of mopey, angsty teenage girl,
Yeah.
She's
You know.
out, unless she doesn't want to go. That's also a possibility. I'm not gonna tell her where we're going. I'm gonna tell her to get her shit.
Yeah. No, I think I had written down here because I didn't know what Troy was gonna say. I just had Edith becomes a Martha.
Oh,
At least you prepared for the
Nice.
worst.
But I think that given what Windrith has sent to Catherine, I think the better version of that is, I think Edith, in a way, she never got to explain herself, the letter. She never got to know if it was something that, you know, even though everybody told her what she meant to Windrith, she didn't hear it from Windrith. And she didn't get to explain herself. And over time, those feelings just kind of festered. And there were two options, and it was dwell on them or let them go. And she could never let them go. So she learned to live with them in different ways. 6 months go by, and she's enjoying the letters she's getting from Xavier after he leaves. She's loving that. She's loving the freedom that comes with, you know, the peerage and money and these connections. Her father and Martha are a thing, and interesting.
It's like
but
they're
she
cute and
distances-
disgusting.
yeah, she distances herself from them plenty. However, both of them are loaded, so she, at this point, doesn't see the need to marry. She sees what it's done for Martha. She sees what happiness can be, etc. And with a father like Remington and a mother figure like Martha, there's no pressure to do so. I
In
think,
fact, people are like, don't marry Edith. It
Yeah.
would be bad.
yeah, like it's bad. Again, it's bad for the family line. It's bad for the name. It's bad for all that stuff. But Edith doesn't care. I don't think. Because in that letter she said something along the lines of, "I would send you baby's breath, but more the life unborn." Because if it's not about an heir, you know what I mean. And she's 16. You know, she's not thinking about that right now. So she 100% joins Catherine in
We're going
a
on a road
trip.
trip, and I tell you where.
On a trip. Because she probably hasn't. She's probably spoken to Catherine. She's probably stayed in touch. They're probably not close. You know, Edith never was like in any of these circles. I guess the closest person she was friends with was Xavier. You know, and then that weird throuple thing happened.
I was
to
just
her.
gonna say, and then your parents banged him.
Yeah, exactly, right? Listen, by all means, whatever your relationship looks like.
Went
Yeah,
from brother
brother.
to daddy.
Yeah, right.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad you're happy, Father, but that is disgusting. Please don't do that where I can tell.
So all
Do
I
it
have
when I'm
here,
not home.
yeah, I think that visit is cathartic. I think it is a whirlwind of emotions and romance. But
Does it
in the
rain?
end, it rains,
course it
and we
does.
dance in it.
Oh,
When they're going on the road trip and Edith doesn't know where they're going, Catherine's bringing an extra horse and she doesn't explain why.
Ah.
They're
Um,
riding and taking an extra horse.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And then it becomes obvious.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Does the question is, does Edith stay
Yeah,
there?
that's what I was going to ask.
You know, as opposed to there's no bringing Win. Does Win want to
in.
go back though because of her family?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
she doesn't have to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
People
mean-
talked and things blew over, but nobody missed Ludwig. We
I would
have
like
all
to
of
think that, you
them
know,
now.
Catherine and Remington probably also can apply some bribes very liberally to make sure that goes away and nobody questions what happened to Ludwig, because he was a douche anyway.
I was just gonna say,
Windrith-
like they're right.
Windrith,
Like no
um,
one's looking for Ludwig, probably.
Windrith probably says something along the lines of, she has everything that she could ever need right here in front of her, and wherever Edith goes, she'll follow.
In that case,
She says it's all you. It's always been all you.
I would never deprive you of your brothers, and I think you'll be surprised to see how they've adapted to a little bit of support.
The two youngest ones are learning to be chefs.
Yeah.
They're cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
then in that case, we head back. But I think we often return to this cottage.
Mhm. I like that.
I like that a lot.
Oh, beautiful.
And as the three return back to the Harcourt Manor, the Windrith is caught up on everything that has happened over the past 6 months. She reunites with her parents and with her brothers. It takes her a minute to find Philip until Catherine explains that he's been in the stables all morning trying to train the foals because one of them has been very rude about eating. And Windrith, when you see him, it's like seeing a tiny version of yourself
Mm.
because he reacts to things very similar to how you did.
Oh, you should see him. You should see him on Maid, tearing around the fields.
And things are different for everyone. Things aren't always good, but they are in a way. Nothing's perfect, but everything just kind of fits. And eventually Xavier and Paul come back from their tour across Europe, and hell, they go on a trip to Canada together. And Xavier's finally able to understand the northern lights that Remington was talking about that one time. And damn it, Remington was right. They're gorgeous. And over time, people grow, and things are quiet for now in good society. And thank you,
Fantastic.
everyone, for joining us on this hell of a ride.
Ride.
And now everyone can understand why I talk about this game so much and why
So
I'm really
good.
annoying about
Yeah.
it.
That was
It's good.
fantastic.
Good
It's so
stuff.
good.
That was
It-
awesome.
the drama creates itself, and the plot
Very
creates
well.
it. It's all you have to do is know how to tell a part of a story, and everything falls into place.
And say
Yeah.
yes and, right? You have to
Yes.
go
Yes,
with,
and.
everybody's weird
Mhm.
things.
I joked
Looking at you,
earlier. Let me
Amber.
see if I can find it. I
2 murders and a wedding. How it ends.
I joked earlier about one person getting distracted by a horse in our Zoom chat here. And I said, no, the whole plot got distracted by a horse.
Yeah, for
It really
real.
did. It happened with complete coincidence. Troy and I
Yeah.
both made our characters, and I was like, she's a horse person. And Troy was like, Windrith is a horse.
They're horse
I'm a
girls.
horse person.
And then we were like, everything will be about horses.
And
And
I
then
was literally,
Christian
and I
brought
was
in the
literally like, hey,
bag.
this guy's not gonna have a shitty horse to show up with.
So
Like his horse has spinning rims. He just and
Ride a
suicide
horse.
doors.
So thank you all so much for watching or listening, however you are viewing this, whether it's live on Twitch or afterwards on YouTube. We really appreciate all of the viewership, and we also appreciate your patience with our schedules.
The after credit scene is just it's like an outhouse, and you just hear Bonnie like getting back.
No, he goes,
Oh my God.
Hold that.
From all the gravel he ate.
If you like what you see here, consider following us. Why not? You can follow us on all the social media. Follow us on all the
Social
social
media.
medias at DMs After Dark. You can email us one-on-one at dmsafterdark@gmail.com. And if you just search DMs After Dark on any of your favorite local podcast apps, we will be there between recordings from this and our podcast modified roles. If you do like us and you see us through a podcast, consider giving us a rate and review. Last I checked, we had 3 5-star reviews, which is super cool and
That's
super amazing through Apple
That's
Podcasts. So
15
stars.
3 people like
thank you so much. We really
that's
appreciate
15
that.
stars.
Like a chef with a bunch of stars on our hats.
that's 15 stars. Rating.
So
That was all Troy.
for once, I will not say I'm sorry. I would instead like everyone to like to end tonight's stream with everyone giving their best bye.
Billy Billingham.
Bye and good night, you nerds.
Night.
Stay lovely.
Who made this character again for me to play? It was
Me, that
Rainy?
was
It was